All right. Let's just get right to it then. So, small talk time. I feel like shit.
Okay,
Do you feel
small
like
talk.
shit?
I feel kind of great,
You feel
honestly.
good?
I feel
Good.
good. I just woke up from a nap shortly.
Good. Naps are good. Naps are good for stopping the shit feeling. But you know, whatever. That's a luxury that you can afford.
Yeah.
I
The
unfortunately
dog
cannot say.
napped with me. The lady napped with me. It was a big
Good.
nap pile. The cat was there. It was very
Nice.
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 The
Yeah.
dog
Not
smells.
not enough sleep. Too a lot of work. Too much stuff. It is what
I'll
it
tell you
is.
what, Wooly. You would be happy that we're doing this podcast remotely today
Hmm.
because I am having some chili-based troubles.
Oh boy. Okay. Um, do you
Paige
have?
described walking into the bedroom this morning as thinking the dog shit on the floor.
So you're not able to locate it to just the bathroom then?
I'm able to locate solid matter to the bathroom,
Okay. Well.
but I am exuding an aura of
Okay.
damage.
See.
It's bad.
Yeah. I do punch mom the pleasure of not inflicting her with toxic. There are
Yeah.
times when I'm like, but I make sure that from time to time I let her know. I remind her. I go, by the way, you could have gotten nuclear poisoning today, but you didn't because
Nuclear.
I don't play that way, you know, and I generally don't drop Blight Town on her, but I let her know that I could have, and it would have been real rough. Every once in a while, you hit one of those where you're just like, damn, if anyone were around for this, woof, you know?
I'd go to jail.
Yeah. So you do have to, you got to bear a witness, and if you know, at the very least, let someone, let them know about you know, the kindness that you're
I have specifically not eaten anything since this morning so that I don't have the situation where the chili continues to fight me and kick me out of this podcast for 25 minutes. So I might be hungry.
Big
but
smells
I won't
around the
shit
house,
myself.
and that's even before getting to Cyberpunk.
That's before. But I'll be right before we get into Cyberpunk, we should really talk about anything else we want to talk about. Because that's going to go right into news.
Okay. What's this about Tim Rogers?
Okay. That was actually my lead into Cyberpunk.
Okay.
So we'll hold on to that
Fine.
for a second.
Okay.
Okay. Games I played this week.
Yes.
Ready? Go. Okay. I played Project Wingman on the PC. That's Ace Combat made by like 2 people. It's really, really impressive for a game made by like 2 or 3 people. It's kind of incredible because it's like 80-90% of the way there right away.
Ooh, okay.
And everybody is telling me that the story goes right off the rails about halfway through the game in a way that everybody likes, like the good off the rails, you know?
Okay.
So, Project Wingman, if you think that's cool, you should check it out. I played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Have you played this?
I downloaded it and I have it installed, but I haven't actually booted it up yet. I've had
Don't bother. It's really good. It's really good. It is much better than Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
It is like it plays more and more like a real action game. It's really good. Everybody uses their iPad in a different way, like the 4 main powers.
Is Urbosa cool?
Yeah, Urbosa's really cool. Urbosa has
strong.
Exceed.
That's good.
Urbosa has Nero's Exceed.
That's fucking fantastic. I was going to call her Umbasa for a second.
Don't play it. You know how Nintendo told their devs to start prepping their games for 4K? And that is the assumption that a more powerful version of the Switch is coming that will perform better? Definitely wait for that. Because that game is dying when you play it. It is way worse than Hyrule Warriors ever was in terms of frame rate.
Muso on Switch Suffering. Yep. Makes sense.
It is your Switch is sweating. I had a friend of mine tell me that the Switch that he holds in his hand, he plays it undocked, becomes physically hot.
Hot. Yeah. Hot.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can somebody in chat saying you can totally crash it. I believe that. So wait a year. It'll still be good. There might be more DLC, right? But maybe there'll be a better way to play it. I played Wasteland 3. That game seems cool. They cleaned that up since its original release. That's basically Fallout 3. Or Fallout 4 if you count New Vegas as Fallout 3.
As you were talking about just like indie dogfighting type games, I'm reminded of I saw a tweet for what's it called? Zodiac XX. This insanely super stylish game, and I believe 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝗀 is behind it. Well, 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝗀 on Twitter, not the webcomic. I think Ethan Red is the name, but super duper stylish, awesome fucking cool looking trailer for that. Take a peep at that.
Right now, that looks dope.
Looks super hot, and that's the dude who made the tweet that was like, "Hey, stop talking about graphics and start talking about art direction." I was like, "Yeah, I like that idea. It's good." Anyway, just squeezing that in there.
Yeah, squeeze it in there. Okay. Also, I play. Oh god, I had the list open. Oh, I've been playing more Yakuza Like a Dragon. Can't say anything because of spoilers, but I will say that Yakuza Like a Dragon, in one of the final chapters, has one of, if not the greatest JRPG boss fight of all time. It is legitimately incredible in both its context, its payout, its mechanics.
My god.
It's so fucking incredible.
You have pulled out all the stops in positive speak about this game. I can't imagine what it is or how good it possibly
the music.
What I can say is two things. I like the fact that I think a lot of this is probably based on the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously. Thus, the fact that you can make any moment comedic or parody strengthens whatever it's trying to do immeasurably.
Oh, but it does take itself deadly seriously.
Okay. And
that's the trick.
And
Yakuza has two moments: zany clown shit and hyper serious crime melodrama,
which they all do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I saw something that like a bit of an okay, I think I see now moment was I believe Mr. Feels put out a tweet saying this is the Persona game where you're in an adulthood that we all wanted. That thing totally we talk about 100%. Where it's like adults doing that style of gameplay, you know?
The youngest member of your canon party is like a 35-year-old woman, and the oldest member is like a 59-year-old man.
That's beautiful.
Almost everybody fits in there, and most of them are 40 plus.
It's how, like, think about how few games there are, like particularly out of Japan, that like treat ages like real and not like anime ages. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Anime 15 like, Jotaro versus like real adults in this franchise, for example. Although let's be real, the 21-year-old Kiryu I'm playing as is a hell of a 21-year-old.
Yeah, so
it happens.
The Yakuza series,
but
is kind of the outlier on that. So I've been saying that series is an RPG since like Yakuza 2, because you get in a goddamn random battles. It's just you fight them in an action thing instead of an RPG system.
Yeah.
But I mean, you fight random battles, you level up, you go to the store to get health potions, right? Like those are absolutely RPGs. But like Kiryu in Yakuza 1 is like 40. Like
Okay.
that
Yeah,
series
that's-
starts with a 40-year-old man who lost half his life to prison.
There you go. Because you see, I was about to say, like, no one's fucking, like, yeah, I just, not no one, but I guess I just, whenever the media that I think of comes up to mind, right to the forefront, you don't really hang out with people in their 40s. And if you do, they're, like, ancient dying dinosaurs on the way out. And, like, you end up with people who are, like, Sid in FF7 who's fucking 30.
There's a moment where a character looks to Ichiban, who is 42, and says, dude, you've got a long way to go, but you'll get there. And it's like, the start of Ichiban's journey is at fucking 42.
That's great.
Now, as somebody who's 34 now, and was terrified of being 40, and made my mom cry because I would make fun of her for turning 40. 40 has seemed to be the moment where your life is over. And JRPGs of our youth really helped that perspective with, you know, oh, you old man, and Sid is the ultimate.
Yeah,
right?
but like
how
it's
old
not
is
just
Sid?
our youth. Like 25 years later, I'm playing 13 Sentinels, and adults in that game are like 28.
22.
You know, like you're at 28 and you're acting like you've seen, like, well, I mean, whatever. People in their late 20s, early 30s are behaving the way someone in their mid 50s on the way out is, you know, in these types of stories. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yakuza good, excellent boss fight. Very good boss fight. I like a boss fight so good I shed a tear because the boss fight was so good.
Good. Continuing to make you cry. It's good.
Now it's time for a Tim Rogers story. So, as I eat...
I can squeeze in a...
you know what? You should probably squeeze something in.
I can squeeze in a shit week. Yeah.
Yeah, squeeze your shit weekend.
Have you tried charging your PS5 DualSense with anything but the original charge wire?
I actually have a charging dock.
Okay. Well, beware that if you don't have, like, for some reason, basically I had my old PS3 charge wire going in from the back of the PS5. I extended it and then put a short USB C converter.
All right, no. I'm hearing a lot of things that you're not supposed to be doing.
Well, so essentially, it, like, I extended and then put the old thing on it and did that, and I was like, oh, this is not working. Okay, like there's a lot of the new USB tech needs to be you need to get a good wire, and what works really good is the one that you use with your Oculus, because that's a fucking high fidelity USB-C it'll be great. But
just grab a bunch of them from fucking Amazon.
Yeah, no, I realized that because
from Monoprice.
The problem, the ones that it come with are way too far away for my setup.
They're very short.
They're very short. And I realized, I'm like, oh man, I've been stocking up on USB Type Bs for fucking 10 years now. But C's are now the majority of what controllers are on here, and I don't have enough. These
headphones use Mini, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I could totally transition all the way to C, except for this pair of headphones.
Except for these, yeah. They're on and you know, the next generation is probably going to have them, although the fucking Apple, I don't know if you've seen those, but the Apple over-the-ear AirPods are going to, I think they're probably using proprietary Lightning still.
They are, because Apple's a bunch of shits.
Yeah, coming at you. I mean, you can cop those for a solid $875 if you're feeling it.
Oh, nice!
For the price of a car, you can get yourself some of those. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about, I guess. In my spare time, I've just been finishing off that Guilty Gear, and I think I have a fucking version 1, so I can at least put that aside for now. What I did was this week I played Waku Waku 7. You might remember that as the bright and colorful game that was the fighting game that we played a long time ago. Every character was a reference to anime. So there was a My Neighbor Totoro character. There was a Joseph Joestar. There was an elf with swords slashing.
I'll tell you what, I'll never remember Waku Waku 7 as any of that shit, because you have created a new Waku Waku 7 memory for me, which is watching the VGAs and someone in chat going, holy shit, Woolie's streaming fucking Waku Waku 7 right now.
Yep. Call me whatever you want, but do not say that I'm not a real one.
You're in there.
You're a real one.
Forever.
I keep it as real as possible. I mean, look, man, realistically, I know this. I know what it is. And I said it, and I'm talking to Reggie about it, and he's like, so, and I'm like, yeah, this is what we do over here, right? Anyone else by any metric would look at this and be like, hey, man, people want to watch reactions to trailers. They want to see you watch this stuff. And even if you're not interested in what's happening on the screen, just sitting there and dumping on it for the hour or two is good enough. It's enjoyment.
This one was easy to dump, let me tell you.
Exactly, right? And I'm just like, yeah. But like, I kind of also die inside just sitting there like going like, all right, new announcements for shit I don't care about, and awards I'm gonna probably complain about. One Punch Man in the fighting game fucking finals. Like, I'm not, what do you want me to, So I'm just like, look, I don't really enjoy a ton of these things, if almost ever. But yes, there's a free massive level of just like people are going to tune in and watch and spike, and people are also going to browse for any high watch channels and just watch along with those people. So it is what it is. But more importantly, I had Waku Waku 7 lore to get to, and I had Galaxy Fight on deck, and I wanted to talk about the connection between these two games because, one, they're fantastic fighting games that were easily forgotten for the Neo Geo, and two, like, it turns out, thanks to Gel for preparing some lore dumps for us in that little get into fighting games we did, but it turns out there's a connection between these two games, and it extends far outside those games into things like the PlayStation 1 shooter Trag, if you remember that. TRAG was a weird,
oh my god,
anime thing that existed.
I never thought I would hear anyone say the word Trag to me.
Trag ties in. And Gel basically prepared like a 10-minute video explaining the lore of this whole thing. And if you want to fucking go on a dive, I encourage you to watch the Get Into Fighting Games Galaxy Fight and Getting to Fighting Games Waku Waku 7 episodes that are about to come out. It's just a whole. It's a whole about a game that you didn't know anything about, and you're finding out how deep it goes when the surface was already like 2/3 of the way down the iceberg, But beyond that lore shit, they're really nicely animated, beautiful games. And Galaxy Fight, you might recall for having some really interesting like space anime, space opera designs, lots of
nope, nothing.
No, nothing,
Brain
huh?
All
right.
It's gone.
Okay, well, it had some really, and it was really interesting because it had like some cool space designs. I want to say like less so Cowboy Bebop and more so Outlaw Star kind of vibes to it. But more importantly and notably is the fact that it's one of the only games I can think of where there's no corners to the screen. You infinitely scroll left or right. You run at like from super far away, and when you hit people, they go flying multiple screens away. So there's a sense of horizontal play that gets used a lot, and like it ends up feeling like really interesting to like juggle someone and send them flying a whole screen away, and then you're sprinting after them, and as they're rolling on the ground, like your next setup is coming. It feels very cool,
I'm watching a long play right now, and I saw a training bag with a headband on it. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah. So that's Bonus Kun. He's a bonus character.
I saw this once.
He's Ryu, and rather the Ryu of that universe is such a badass that went on to teach all the badasses how to fight, and his training bag was so filled with the fighting spirit from being near him for so long, from being on his shoulder and traveling, that it eventually developed its own fighting spirit, and that's Bonus-kun, who appears in both games.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's happening this week. It was a really fun time, believe me. It's a good ass game, and yeah, I will always be out there, doing some stupid shit during the fucking Game Awards or doing some other watch along type thing. And sometimes I'll do the watch, let's be real. But these days, it seems a lot less sensical when you're going to have to do what with the video afterwards. Fucking wipe it.
So we did it on Paige's channel, and like after the end of it, I'm like, do you want to keep this? And she said, fuck no. We deleted it right away.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
sense. Where's it gonna go? YouTube, where it'll get copyright stricken or fucking whatever?
Exactly. You can't put it in either direction. So yeah, fucking whatever, you know? I'll just play this Sunsoft fighter. It's a good time. So that's what we did. And then I also really quickly took Reggie to
Virgil on the PC.
Oh, well, I didn't, but I was gonna say we booted up 𝗕cie 1 for what that's worth. 𝗕cie 1 is the old Neo Geo, Hyper Neo Geo 64, UFC style MMA game they made. It's where
It's got that guy from KOF11 that you really like in it,
and Silber is in it as well. Exactly, and you get to see
Silber.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of it's honestly, so it's all of those things, but it's also SNK's homage, if not like a send up to Grappler 𝗕cie, because the main character and that guy Silber are very, very much right out of Grappler 𝗕cie. Same vibes. It's also got Ryo in it as older Mr. Karate 2 in the future. And it's the fighting game where you use the buttons to move and the stick to fight. So you attack with the gestures and movements on the stick, and then there's a forward step button and a back step button. Very weird.
That's stupid.
Yes, but the idea can work because you remember Fight Night 3.
Yeah, sure. I remember it.
Fight Night is proof that system can work. It just needs to be refined.
Was Fight Night like the last good sports game that I ever played?
I mean, that was a long ass time ago, right?
Yeah.
But before you, it's a weird system, but there's something to it. And Fight Night gets that in there where you like the motion of an uppercut translates into an uppercut, and you go, oh yeah, no, I see it. It's a little bit of that. We referenced it not long ago. Raiden in Sons of Liberty with the stick for slashing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something to that. It can work, you know? So, yeah, that was interesting. Unfortunately, like it doesn't fucking run properly because no one gives a fuck to get the Hyper Neo Geo 64 running because it's one of the worst pieces of shit systems, arcade systems ever made. It's an arcade board that literally consists of, I think there's a total of 6 games that were ever made for it. It was alive for 2 years, and and those 6 games, if you're going to play the fighting games, you have to buy the fighting board, which only supports 3 games. Or if you want to play the racing game, you have to buy the racing board, which supports the 1 racing game.
That's so stupid.
Or the other board for the shooters, which is 2 games. And it's just the most trash shit ever. Dude, it's awful. Like anyway.
Like, we got the CPS3 first only because people wanted to emulate Third Strike. But like that was the board that would kill itself if you took it apart, right?
Not if you took it apart. If you left it alone and healthy, over time it was built to commit suicide, and then they would have to basically re-up it for you. But once they stopped doing that, then everyone's board's suicided. So then someone had to come up with a hardware fix in the form of phoenixing your CPS3s.
Super. That's just incredible.
And it was because CPS2 got pirated to shit, and they didn't want to have any more Rainbow Editions coming out. So, this was supposed to be... And CPS2 was such a successful board. There's tons and tons of games for it. They were expecting CPS3 to go in that direction as well, but whatever. Obviously, due to a million things and reasons, it didn't. Hyper Neo Geo 64 is even worse than that. But hey, it had that one 3D Samurai Showdown game with Old Hal. No, Old Hal Maru was Warrior's Rage. Never mind. It had 𝗕cie in it. There you go.
I've got the stupidest shit post in my head, and it's Danny DeVito standing in front of a bridge, going, "My friend CPS3 is gonna commit suicide. Suicide is badass." And then just somebody throws a CPS3 board off a bridge instead of Dennis, I think it is.
I mean, like, I went through the trouble of getting a CPS3 board only to have a bunch of asshole movers break it for me without the board even killing itself.
It compelled them to kill it. It was unhappy to be alive.
It sucked. Anyway, that game's fucking weird, but it's interesting to look at that shit. And it's also interesting to see, again, some of the ideas at the time. Like, there's a 𝗕cie character that each pose, each direction on the stick is a pose, and you have to move into a couple of them to get a move out. So if you go from like crane into like whatever, into like different poses, different 𝗕cie stances, then you get like a hit out. It's just a very unique experience. So yeah, that's out there too. So we looked at some weird shit while the rest of the world was getting hot for 𝗕cie𝘀𝗶𝗴.
What are you talking about?
But that's coming up on Wooly Versus, and of course Yakuza continues. Shit's rad. Not much else to say.
Oh, yes, that is rad.
Yes, loving it. Got introduced to all the trainers of the styles now.
You got introduced to exactly half the trainers.
Excuse me, the 3 trainers of the styles then, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the quality of these side missions. A good ass time was had with those fucking rockabilly dudes. So strong, very strong.
How do I be a badass? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
that shit's great.
So that's that. And Sentinels continues, but that's me.
So I like to watch videos while I eat. That's the thing that I like to do because I think eating is boring. So I like to watch a TV video. So I've been going down.
It sucks because you associate food with watching things, and then when you want to watch something but you're not hungry, you still feel like you should be munching on something.
Oh, that's bad. I don't know if I have that. But
oh, that's a real thing. It sucks.
That'd be terrible. So I've been going through the playlist on YouTube called Videos by Tim Rogers. Finding out all sorts of crazy shit, like what the deal with the number 47 is, and why he doesn't swear, and where the phrase "I was born stupid" came from.
Good. All of this is good.
I was watching earlier today his review of Devil May Cry 5, in which what's he called? Devil May Cry 5 is like the king of trash. Rogers DMC 5. What's it called? It's called Devil May Cry 5 is the holy grail of trash.
Yeah, that
which he means as a compliment.
I like the energy of that title. I like it a lot.
And he describes like this is a game where everyone's stupid idea got to be in the game, and they are obsessed with making the exact game they wanted to say. It's quite a compliment. And yes, Devil May Cry 5 has come a long way since Pac-Man. In that video, however, he tells a great story. And he tells a story of back when he used to work at Grasshopper Manufacture, making gray box levels for Shadows of the Damned. And when he worked there, he would come in early on the mornings where Shinji Mikami was set to arrive from Osaka on specific days, and he would sit down and play God Hand so that he could hang out with Shinji Mikami playing God Hand.
Okay,
and he remarks Shinji Mikami sitting there watching him play God Hand, muttering angrily under his breath, 3.0? They gave it a 3.0, man. IGN just doesn't get it. Take a look at this action. Look at this. On what planet does this action equal a 3.0?
Oh, man.
And they've ruined my career.
Wow.
I hate them. and then eventually moving on to weird dad discussion of the quote is, "Man, the kid who tuned this punch was such a good kid." Like, just one of the most bizarre anecdotes.
I am not someone who tends to feel like jealous super often. I it's one thing I'm happy about that I don't. But that's one of those things, one of those moments where I'm like, you got to be in the room playing while the guy who made the game is standing there feeling himself over his own game because it's that good, though. You know? That I'm super jealous of. And I would say that I want to be in the room while anyone of that ilk is like watching their own game, just being like, I'm so fucking nice. God damn, I'm good. Yeah. You know? I need that.
The important thing to note here is that IGN gave God Hand a 3 in Infamy, which means that according to IGN's review standards, God Hand, one of the greatest action games of all time, a game that's just about punching people, is still worse than the nigh unplayable trash that is the PS4 and Xbox One base versions of Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk on IGN has 2 different reviews, one for the PC and later gen SKUs, and one for the for Cyberpunk, I would call a current gen SKU, but last gen SKU, which would be base PS4, base Xbox. I played Cyberpunk this week. Or last
there you
week,
go.
rather.
Okay, nice transition.
I thought it was pretty useful. Yes, I thought.
No, good segue. I would just like to insert that I think looking back on those misreviewed things like Vanquish and God Hand and anything else that got a like criminally low review back when we all kind of looked at game reviews as like the most important thing in video games.
Back before you had a podcast where your own opinion surfaced as a more important review to many people than those review scores.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, yeah, that's...
I'm IGN now!
Without actually, like, yeah. Sure. No, but I would like to note that, like, I think we can look back and go, like, it was important for those moments to kind of happen to sort of create a nice dent in the timeline that you can look and point back at and go, this shows you something where games that go against expectation of what this genre is supposed to be or how it's supposed to whatever, where you go into another place where it's like, actually it just wants you to have fun and be stylish, not because it requires it, but because it's something that is rewarding and feels good to do. And that concept was something that had to be pointed out to everybody.
Dude,
to everybody. Because people that had figured it out on their own were already there.
When they got all that backlash about the 3.0, they put out like an editor's note saying, oh man, everybody's mad at us, but you have to understand, everyone in the office hates this game more than any game that's come into the office this entire year. And it was just like, now we can ignore all of you forever. What have you done?
Those moments were important for making a widespread like a signal boost of there are games out there that that ask you for a little optional thing that is the majority of the reason why you're playing the game, you know, and that extends into any game that gives you like obtuseness, difficulty up front, an easy way out that's optional, and essentially like and basically is like, you know, the reward is the feeling of being stylish, or the reward is the feeling of like doing it really well and good, you know? Like, anyway. So, Cyberpunk.
Where to begin? Play Cyberpunk?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And
So.
I've cemented my feeling that I will be gladly waiting for the improvement on the game, because one, I mean, look, I've never been in any rush, but I'm still excited
Really?
for in general, you know me, but I'm still very excited for the design aesthetic, and I need to experience as much of that as possible, and I don't want to be hindered by, let's say, the 13 crashes I think Esteban has hit in his journey through the game so far.
So, I'm going to talk about Cyberpunk as if it were a narrative. The story of me playing Cyberpunk, as it were. So, I applied for review code, and one of the first things that sucked about the review process was they gave us an email, I think 20 hours before the game came out, saying, hey guys, we're not going to be able to process all your codes, but we'll definitely get back to you within the next day and a half after the game comes out. Which is like, oh, great. Then I did get that review code on the day of at about 7 in the morning. So I went, okay, fine. Let's go download it on GOG. So, Wooly, you've punched in unreleased games on Steam, right? You punch it in, and either it works outright, or, like Capcom likes to do, you put a little code into the beta tab, and then you go to the reviewer tab, and then it just downloads like a couple extra files, and then you're done, right? Boy, is using the good old games client for this process the worst, because first it requires you to preload the entire game, and then after you go to add the review code part and change over to that beta, there are like 4 codes associated with it. But once you punch through it, you have to re-download the entire game again.
That would explain it, because I'm like, why is everyone complaining about getting stuck on shit servers when it should have been preloaded already? I thought that preload was to avoid that entirely, and that people would have already had it sitting there.
Bonus, they were using anti-leak copy protection, which has a CPU hit on your PC when you're playing the review version, which means the retail version of the game does run a couple frames better than the review copy. So when the review code, when the actual live game went live, it crashed and then forced me to try and download the review copy again, and then told me that I didn't have the right to play the review copy because the review copy portion had passed. So I was like, maybe I'll switch to the retail version, which I did, and then it downloaded the review copy version again. And then I had to switch to the retail version again. So I downloaded Cyberpunk 2077 5 times on launch day.
You know how you could have avoided that, right?
How's that?
By playing the optimal best version as supported on Stadia.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Runs best on Stadia. Don't forget.
So, before my stream, I'm like, well, I better make sure this is a graphically intense personal computer game. I should fuck with the settings. Make sure it run good on stream. To which I discover you can't make that game run well. So I was like, that's weird. I do the stream test, that eats up some CPU power, right? And I do the different settings, and it varies from this. I could lock it at 30. And then I like, well, what if I didn't have the stream test on? What if I just had normal settings on ultra? What if I had it on high? What if I had it on medium? What if I had it on low at 1080p? Oh, you can't hit a consistent 60 frames a second in this game.
Wow.
With an i7 8700K and a 3080 and 32 gigs of RAM on an SSD. It's actually impossible. Something in the background is chunking the frame rate down to like 50 at least whenever you like aim your gun or like characters spawn in.
From the footage I've seen, it's not just frame rate. It's literally model quality, texture pop in.
Well, I'm talking about my PC experience, right?
Okay.
So we'll get there. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. So it's like I struggle through it, and I'm playing the game, and I'm discovering people are just walking through walls, cars are clipping through everything, people are T-posing at random, characters are not doing their triggers correctly, just all sorts of little minor but not game-breaking bugs. And then I discover the start of what will later be called, I guess, the nightmare, which is the game's #1 descriptor of how rushed it is. And that is the game lives in a universe that has no object permanence. It looks like a bug. It acts like a bug, but it's not a bug. It's a feature. NPCs and cars don't exist when you don't look at them.
Oh. Okay. So
they're
that
just
video,
literally not there.
Yes. That video of the cops spawning into the corner when this dude causes crimes, and he just does a thing. He does a 360 and they spawn in the same corner every time he turns his back, and that's how they show up and track you, because there's no AI pathing. People are taking guesses.
That's a different problem.
Oh,
I'm talking about
God.
an even simpler problem. I had a fucking sequence in which
Bug
my chat
spoilers.
started to gaslight the shit out of me. They started to gaslight me to death.
Oh, they would.
I was looking at a guy at a fucking noodle stand, and I looked away, and I looked back, and his clothes had changed. And then I looked away, and I looked back, and he was now a completely different person.
Okay.
And
okay, no, literally just the world itself generates as you look at it.
If you're
all
on a highway
that,
and you look at a car that's 10 feet away, and then look away and then look at the car is a different car.
All things unload and reload in
instantly.
Okay.
And that's not a bug. That was made that way to save time.
And that is,
we don't have time to do this. Just fuck it. Just unload anything.
Unload everything. Yeah, you optimize performance that way. If you unload everything, you don't have to worry about what's not in the vision cone and on what's not in the draw distance, and you're fine. Right? In theory.
Moving on to what you were talking about, cops. You commit a crime, cops will teleport out of view 180 degrees behind you, about 10 feet away, no matter where you are. The reason why they do that is because cops don't have anything that tells them what to do. They have combat AI that says, shoot criminal. They can't chase you. They can't drive. They can't do anything. In fact, no one in the game can drive. All drivers in the game are actually cars following predetermined paths. If you put an item in front of the car just stops. And you go, wouldn't that horribly jam traffic? No, because the instant you don't look at them, they despawn.
You know, there was another game that featured driverless cars that went around on predetermined loops that could be jammed up. I believe it was called Omicron the Nomad Soul.
If you are in an area where the cop can spawn in a car and that would be appropriate, they will spawn in and get out of the car to shoot you. But if an item is there and they spawn in, they can clip into each other and explode and kill everyone around them. Everybody's making fun of the bugs because there's bugs where you are almost every car or motorcycle that people are playing, you will T-pose with your pants naked off through the roof of your car while you're driving. All the time. characters will clip through the floor. Characters will be backwards. Their animations won't be tied to the right object. People will hold a phone, but the phone will be 10 feet away. You'll get a objective to go talk to a guy, but the guy's not there. The guy's actually standing outside, clipped through the floor on the street, and then you talk to him, and you teleport into the bar. But then the guy's still outside talking.
I saw a car crash where the car drove inside of the other car and exploded, and the car flipped over and 180'd, and I think at the end of the video, like, they turn over and look at Keanu Reeves, who just goes, "Well, that went well,"
your
or
dick
something like that.
Will be rendered on top of your pants.
Yeah.
All of these things. These are all things that you
bugs I saw in Just Cause when I was testing that.
Yeah, these are all variations on a theme, which is the game isn't done. They didn't fix the bugs long enough. Those are bad. What's crazy is the stuff that looks like a bug, but it's not. It's just rushed. The crafting menu doesn't have any sound effects. I had a friend of mine tell me he accidentally crafted like 4 items because there are no sound effects, so he thought it was broken, but it turns out they were crafting the whole time. Certain skill trees are useless. The game keeps telling you to buy cars and shit, but the game doesn't give you enough money. And the amount of money you get from killing random dudes on the street is like is more than any that you would get from a real side quest. 𝗕cie𝘀𝘀𝗶𝗴ih and 𝗕cie𝘀𝘀𝗶, 2 people from very different parts of the internet, right? Both made tweets within like an hour that were like the funny T-pose, like headless monster bugs have left, only to be replaced with, I had to reload a 2-hour-old save because this mission is completely broken, or I'm stuck, or with 𝗕cie𝘀𝘀𝗶𝗴ih, his ending completely broke. I also spoke with Gene, and his ending completely broke.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because there were spoilers in it, but some kind of horrible bug happened that caused a major mission and a side quest to overlap on top of each other and make neither completable. When I think Esteban tweeted that some footage of that or something weird like that happening. It's a common ass occurrence that like people are running into progression blockers. And yeah, I kind of have to wonder, like, the promise of this game, not just in its style and its aesthetic, but the setting was a tabletop. So that kind of leans into you can do what you want in this world and live the way you want to. So, obviously that's kind of what's fucking drowning the fucking baby right now. But if they had taken the whole game and turned it into a polished hallway and then said, we'll build off of this later, would that have been preferable?
Yeah, totally. If they had made this Deus Ex, absolutely. Somebody just tweeted me them misspelling Night City on a police checkpoint in the game. So there's all that, and then there's like oversights. I don't know what to call it, right? There's like the first cutscene in the game has V looking into a mirror because you made your character creator. By the way, the character creator is terrible. All that talk about choosing your penis and all that crap, the character creator is terrible.
I mean, I saw like super serious Squidward Chad face, and I saw a pretty good rendition of what some character.
Fake, those are fake. Those are memes.
Oh, damn it!
The character creator has no sliders of any kind.
Handsome Squidward was fake. That sucks.
Oh yeah.
Damn it.
So the game's character creator sucks. But then they're like, well, you made your character, right? So the very first scene of the game is your character looking into the mirror. You looking into the mirror is a real mirror reflection, and I believe it uses RTX to do it, whether or not your card has RTX. So the very first scene in the game runs so badly that the game almost crashes. And then after the mirror like loses its reflective property, you become invisible to reflective surfaces.
Oh my god! Yeah,
your character becomes a vampire, so that doesn't happen again.
Everything you're describing is like PS3 360 era technology for like minimizing performance issues.
Yeah,
you know, turning reflections off. Like it was a big deal in Duke Nukem when reflections worked in Duke Nukem Forever. I remember because and whereas in Human Revolution, the mirror in Jensen's apartment is punched because he hates looking at himself, but really it's
so
because
they don't have to do a goddamn
fuck
mirror.
Reflections. Yeah. You know.
So my favorite version of this is
10 years ago we had to do this
that
shit.
actually works correctly, but shows off a different bug.
Wait, they're implementing a performance lightning technology from 10 years ago. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. So if you RTX the shadows, items will cast shadows using the RTX system, ray tracing, yada yada, right? Well, you know how a first-person game has a nightmare player model where the character's body is and where their arms are and the way that you make a character move in first person feel realistic results in a distorted nightmare person with no head.
Yes, exactly.
If you look at them from outside. Well, guess what? Ray tracing shows you that shadow on the ground. They will show you a bald or headless nightmare torso homunculus with disjointed arms on the ground.
Okay. There was a real Jolene. There's a good Jolene that 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝘀𝗶𝗴 made that I liked. So like someone managed to make there not every decent looking character was a meme so far. But yeah, okay. All right, so there's that.
Right. So me playing it and being frustrated constantly with its poor performance and minor to moderate bugs, and then stopping playing it because the game kept forcing me to re-download it, that was frustrating. Then I went online and saw everybody else complaining, right? What's my takeaway? The game seems cool. It seems kind of up its own ass, and I don't know if the gameplay is good because I was constantly fighting it, like technically, right? It could be good. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna pass any judgment on the game's content.
Yeah, I saw some people enjoying themselves in terms of like just the world, right? Which is the whole thing.
I have friends that are enjoying it.
Yes.
By the way, if people are enjoying it, don't yell at them. That's fucking stupid. They're allowed to enjoy whatever they want.
Yes.
But right, so I wouldn't talk about its content, though it does seem kind of up its own ass, and I really don't like V's voice actor. I really do. I'm probably going to play Lady V because she is... I fucked around with that after the end of the stream. Her voice actor just seems to do a better performance.
Every issue I've heard people bringing up with has been... are pretty much... I'd say 9 out of 10 issues I've heard brought up have been technical in nature.
Yeah. So then... what started to leak out was the old console versions. And holy shit, have you seen this shit?
Is that where old Keanu versus new Keanu comes from?
Yeah. The PS4 FAT and the Xbox One original is running at 720p 30 barely. Probably not really. Textures take minutes to load in. The bugs are all worse. The game is garbage. Like it's an unplayable mess.
Yeah, if the version you're getting in the final in the primary if the primary version is suffering, the ports are always going to be like a fucking shit show trip carnival.
Well, here's where it gets really fun. That the experience that I got doing the review process and talking to other reviewers, right? Well, first of all, they only sent out PC codes. No console codes of any kind. 2, you couldn't use your own footage if you put up a review.
Mm-hmm.
You had to use B-roll they gave to you.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no way for anybody to see what the game looked like on an original Xbox One or a PS4 Fat, except for the trailer they put out where they said, here's PS4 gameplay like 2 years ago. That is complete. Like the PC version doesn't even look like that. So
this sounds like a completely different company from the one that made The Witcher 3.
So that's going to be fun to talk about in a second. Because it's not. It's just their reach exceeded their grasp so greatly that bad habits became the worst habits. If that makes any sense. So, okay, the old versions of the game are unplayable garbage. The first thing that you would say is, well, most people actually bought the game on PC, and it's a PC SKU first, and that how well do you expect it to run on these old-ass consoles? Well, considering Cyberpunk was announced before the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were announced, I went and checked the dates. The first trailer came out before you could buy a PS4.
Yes. The list, there was a list, I believe, that popped up on Reddit of things that have been announced before in this time since Cyberpunk's announcement, and it's one of those insane fucking lists like the one for Duke Nukem that we talked about back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, everything Game of Thrones related in terms of the TV show, like almost the entire MCU, you know, like crazy levels of shit.
And it's like, I would assume that it being announced for
all of FF7 remake announcement.
I would assume that it would the consoles it was announced for that weren't even, it didn't even exist yet. It was just for next gen consoles. Would be the one they're talking about. The game went gold before you could buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. That gold is in big quotes. So the takeaway personally is the PC version, it needs like a year or more. The old versions, I have no idea. I don't know if they're even salvageable. They are such a fucking mess.
Yeah, I've seen that sentiment being shared a lot. A lot of people basically saying this will be great when it's done, and it's gonna need about a year in the oven at the state it's in. It's not like a buggy release. It's just straight up incomplete. And to that I say, sure, I'll get around to it in a year then.
So you know what my favorite part about that, by the way, is that in the original Cyberpunk trailer in 2013, they offer a tentative release date. Do you remember what the 2013's tentative release date was, Wooly? I'll give you a hint. DNF had the same one.
What was it?
It was when it's done.
When it's done. Okay. Well,
nice.
Things change.
Nice.
Yeah. No, honestly, so this is something where, you know, I really, really, really like, I would love to see the database. I would love to see the bug database, because then I could put the story together, and it would literally allow me to create a narrative going back to the start and taking it all the way through the journey to find out how those 8 years were spent. If I could just get access to it, even if it were not titles only.
I can tell you right now, this game did not start development until the fucking Blood and Wine DLC came out for Witcher 3.
Could have
Like
been
they
Skeleton
announced
Crew.
it, and then they put that trailer out, but like real production only happened when people came off Witcher. The game is not 8 years old.
It could have been Skeleton
5
Crew.
tops. Yeah.
In a lot of cases, that's something that you get going. Obviously, recent examples of Skeleton Crew ramp up being an immense success would be Hades comes to mind.
Oh yeah.
So don't fucking don't say
no
it doesn't
crunch.
work.
Forced vacations. Good for Hades.
I mean, dude,
Big
I
thumbs
will sing Supergiant praises as with the quality of games they've been putting out from the start, like, and until unless they pull one of these, unless they go, But anyway, like, yeah, Hades
in my
is
narrative
of
navigating the shit show the night after I played it on stream, I thought to myself, I wonder how that seizure shit went down in the game now that the game is out and people are playing it. So I went ahead and found it. I found the brain dance sequence, and I pulled up a video of it from somebody else's playthrough, put it in the non-maximized YouTube layout, and put it on my second monitor, which is a 1080p like 21-inch monitor that I can, if you're watching this live, I'm pointing to right now, and watched it. And then I got the timestamps, gave you a warning, and sent you that video. Did you watch it?
I did.
Astonishing! I felt sick watching that. It feels bad.
So I said it last week, but my bar was Incredibles 2, and this came in way below that. But
still,
the fact that the device and the pattern emulate actual seizure-inducing technology is the weirdest part of that. Am I seeing correctly here in that they did patch it out?
It is the first thing they patched was a warning, and then the second thing they patched was it is now like
scene.
It now doesn't flash the same way, so it is ostensibly safe.
Great.
And then I found out my absolute favorite thing of the day, which is of personal experience, like personal what do you call it? It matters to me personally and to almost no one else. But in the current Twitch DMCA shenanigans, games with licensed music are scary.
Yes.
And the CD Projekt devs understood
you took notes. Good.
that, and they said they put in a DMCA music toggle saying, hey, we're going to turn off copyrighted music if you turn this toggle on. I go, well, that's great. And then later that night, as I'm exporting my fucking stream to YouTube, the Twitter comes up, oh, we missed a couple. And then a few hours later comes, oh, actually, we missed so many that we don't even have a list of which ones we missed. So just go ahead and turn music off entirely.
Tweet basically said, warning, turning the DMCA safe, turning the copyrighted music option off does not protect you. You can still get fucking flagged.
It provides a nice warm blanket of security that will not protect you from incoming DMCA bullets.
That is a ridiculous level fuck up.
And this is where I was at that night, and I was like, I feel like, and this is a personification of a game, right? This is a feeling. This is not the reality. I feel like Cyberpunk is trying to hurt me.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah,
like,
what else we got going on here?
I feel like the game is attempting to give me seizures, and as I am suffering a grand mal seizure, attempting to get me fired from my job.
Yes, the game also comes with a requirement that you utilize the syringe-based peripheral that's packed in the box with it. Like yeah. I get it. I get it.
Let's be real. That Cyberpunk is shit. Right? this new video game is trying to ruin my life. Okay, fine. But sure. And then some more shit happened, and I guess this would be news. But I mean, we'll move around.
Yeah, but a lot of things did. So
you want to talk about their dear gamers?
I was gonna say. So what I saw was there was some emails went out and apparently got leaked, and one of the more recent ones was describing the that everyone at the company would be getting their bonus pay even if it doesn't reach its bonus threshold. To which, of course, you have to look at the way it's reported as like, oh, good news, everybody. It's
like way to announce that after you've already crunched yourself into a depression.
Also,
that would have been great to know before you worked, 4 months of overtime.
Also, this massively unethical shit system of fucking Metacritic bonus fucking scores is still a thing we're doing. All right, I guess we're still doing it.
I have a lot more to talk about that in just a bit. So that came out, and people were like, "Oh, well, that's kind of good, guy, CD Projekt. They're trying to do, they're fixing." Okay, well, let's hold that thought. Next comes. Oh, by the way, I found a thread on the Cyberpunk Reddit where the game is shipped with the wrong configuration, so it's not even using all of people's PCs. It's using like a third or half of some people's PCs, which explains why it runs like such goddamn shit. But, dear gamers, an official statement by Cyberpunk and CD Projekt. First of all, we'd like to apologize to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to make more informed attention. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on the PS4 and Xbox One. I can tell you for a fact, interacting with this review process, they're not sorry. They didn't, forget.
This was an obfuscation of information. Yeah.
This is 100% intentional.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to fix shit and improve stuff. First round of updates, we're going to have another patch in a couple days. We're going to have another patch in January. We're going to have another patch in February.
Never forget that Sony's own Twitter and website published a trailer that accurately showed you the gameplay for Life of Black Tiger.
It's true, they did. It's incredible. Incredible. It won't make it look like it's running next gen or high spec, but it won't crash, they say, after the February patch. Finally, we would like everybody who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. Now listen to this very carefully. We would appreciate it if you would give us a chance, but if you are not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for the updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system of PSN or Xbox respectively. For boxed versions, first try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at helpmirefund@CD Projekt Red, or we'll do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until December 21st, 2020, which would be this coming Monday. But they didn't tell this to Sony or Microsoft or any of the retailers.
Hello, Sony, can I get my money back, please?
No.
But they said I was supposed to ask you.
Too bad. And now money back. There are actually idiots online going, I can't believe Sony's ripping me off with the refund thing. One, yeah, Sony's refund policy is terrible. So is Microsoft's. Steam's is a little better, unless you live in Australia where it's much, much better. But this is passing the buck. This is telling you, dude, just ask for a refund, knowing full well most people can't get refunds. Okay. Well. Oh, but you can email them at an email that will die this coming Monday.
I would it's. I mean, passing the buck is like. Yeah, I guess so. If you're just saying like it's your problem now, because to me it's mainly just a it's just a leave me alone. Go put the problem over there, even though there is nowhere. kind of. Yeah, it is.
Also, I was informed today that GOG's refund policy enables a 7-day refund for any reason, except if your game doesn't work right now and we're actively patching it, please wait until it's fixed before asking for your refund.
So another point to this, and this is one that actually I can shed some light on, is the discussion of waivers and compliance was brought up. Right?
Yes. How did this shit get through? How did the seizure shit get through Sony and Microsoft's compliance?
Well,
literally how?
I can't speak for this generation because I wasn't there for it, but I can say that based on previous gens of certification, there were no guidelines against seizure inducing except for Nintendo. They're the only ones that had anti-seizure tech on their guidelines. So Sony and Microsoft didn't really care per se. Steam as well, because Steam does have some guidelines. They're extremely minimal. They're one page, but they do exist. Yeah, fuck it. They didn't care about that stuff. The part of this where the console versions, I believe, in the emails were they were stated that yes, these are like messes and they're full of tons of major issues, but they were given waivers, right, for day one patches or for eventual fixes to a lot of issues. So to that, and I saw some like confusion as to like what the fuck. They basically made a promise about like fixing these major issues, and that's what allowed the game to come out. For the record, every game does this. Waivers, just so that you guys are aware, in waivers of major compliance issues is a common thing in the industry, and a lot of games that are basically in the shit, for better and for worse, as they get near submission, you will find that they'll send you back a list of major fails, and they'll have a list, and they'll basically go, the game can't come out if you have these things still in your game, whatever. And then it's up to the producer to get on the phone and negotiate waivers for each of the issues that they can.
Convince someone.
And at that point, the hardware manufacturer can choose to allow or not. But essentially, there's tons and tons of games that have major issues where they say, if you get it in a day one patch, it'll be okay. And a lot of games have that you know and like and play. In fact, I'd say every AAA game has waivers that were applied that got patched out on day one. Issues that you never knew were in there that could be catastrophic. Anything that is like too dangerous is a no-go. But if the negotiation is essentially for something that is like catastrophic to like the user experience in just the game and not in a like larger console context, you'd be surprised what you can get away with a waiver for, providing that the day one patch absolutely has it. And if you fuck that up and don't adhere to your promises on that, you lose a fuck ton of standing and ground with them. And
means you won't be able to do it the next time.
You will not be able to do it the next time. You will have infinitely lower priority, and you'll have no grounds to negotiate with. You will not be in good standing. I believe there are literal fines in some cases. I'm not sure that every manufacturer uses it, but there are some did. And yeah, essentially it's a like, we don't trust you anymore on anything like this moment if you promise waivers for day one fixes and then don't deliver on them. So like submission wise, CD Projekt is fucking hurting with what they promised to deliver and then didn't on those day one patches for console.
Yeah, basically they say they'll do better next time. They literally have to, or the games won't come out.
If you can demonstrate that, like, you like in those discussions, if you can demonstrate you're like, oh hey, like we've already identified the issue, it's already fixed in this version, whatever, we'll roll it out here, you know, and then the SKUs will be fine, and all, like, all of this factors in. It's a very, like, all right, if you say so, you know, in the end, like, as long as it happens and it happens, it's fine. If you fuck that up, man, like, they really don't want to give you the time of day, and they will be petty and extra petty to you.
Do you think that they actually fulfilled their promises to Sony and Microsoft for that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're in fucking rough standing right now, no question.
Well, we have confirmation that they didn't. So a conference call came out this morning in Polish. A gentleman on Reddit has translated it for us, and it has a shitzillion upvotes, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, but I'm going to assume that nobody corrected it. One of the questions is, how come this game got through Sony and Microsoft's cert? This is on our side. Sony and Microsoft was hoping we will fix the game on release. It's entirely on us. Also part of this this thing is how's refunds going? Well, we told people to refund it with Sony and Microsoft, so we're done. We're done with that. But my favorite part of this conference call, by far the most important part, is describing why did you put the game out in this state. And they described that there was no extraordinary pressure. Oh, the call's in English? Oh, my bad. There was no extraordinary pressure to release it this year. Like, all that talk about, well, investors were pushing them, or the fan base was pushing them to put it out. No, they could have totally delayed it.
So they just looked at the clock and saw what was happening in front of them. And, you know, again, those 20 days, like, those 20 days now in retrospect, like,
that's cert promises.
Oh man,
it's what I said. They failed cert, and then they promised that they would pass cert, and then they failed cert again.
Like the term that gets used in some of these cases is like conditional release. You know, like they will be like, all right, you can. There are conditions, and for whatever they're doing console wise from here on out, their submission process is going to be hell. It's going to be hell. Unless the people and times could have changed. You know, again, I've been out of the game for a minute, but from the time when I was there, I can say that, like, when they don't like you, you will fucking know it. They will be very petty.
Nintendo's the worst, right?
Especially Nintendo.
Okay, so luckily
Nintendo's not involved here. Nintendo will literally like angry girlfriend you, like silent treatment you. Like Nintendo will absolutely fucking give you that fucking that fire, that heat, that what did I do? You okay? I'm fine.
Oh no.
Are you fine?
You want to release a couple games later? Whatever.
Lot check will fucking scope, bro. Oh man. Hell hath no fury, like a Nintendo scorned.
I hope you kept all that in your head, because my final piece of news is from a little birdie that I spoke to across the pond about how things are going inside the studio right now. Now, you can obviously take this with a grain of salt, as I'm not personally providing a source, but you should probably listen to it anyway. Developers are unhappy with the way things have gone.
You don't say.
It's true. For one thing, they're being harassed by people on the internet.
Of course.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
For what is obviously the decisions of management. And management is just letting them burn. Burnout and associated stress on the project has been described as so much worse than Witcher 3 that people on the team have asked management whether or not they will be providing mental health resources.
I mean, dead serious, you guys. I don't know if anyone here can imagine the feeling of 5 years on a project to release to rage and jeers because the thing that gets put out is not at all what you hoped it would be, and like you did your best, you did your job, but the end result is a fucking trash fire. That shit's awful. Morale
it came out 2 weeks before Christmas, which is the Depression Olympics.
Morale is annihilated. Absolutely.
And you're burnt out.
Yeah.
And the following. 2 developers couldn't find the bug log, but both said, there's no way that didn't get bugged. It must have been marked as low priority. Investigate further. With the brain dance / seizure elements.
Dub and F.
Remember when everybody
Will
was
not
like,
fix.
oh, at least they're fixing the Metacritic bonus thing, right? Well, turns out the studio was in almost open revolt to get those Metacritic bonuses untied because of all the other shit management pulled. And they finally got it. However, it should be known that you only qualify for any of those Metacritic bonuses if you put in a shit ton of overtime. The people who refused to be crunched were never eligible for that bonus and still won't get it.
So this is just cherry on top with the inside the studio perspective.
Oh yeah,
because it's very clear what's happening outside, and it's very clear what's happening in the boardrooms.
Now, don't mean to get too political, but that's not a bonus. That's wage theft under performance metric. That's bullshit.
Ostensibly.
In general, the team is miserable, depressed, burnt out, furious, harassed, exhausted, and more than anything right now, can't believe the way that the company is portraying everybody as one big team, as one singular entity, where a lot of them were like, you can't ship this, it's fucked. Or a more common attitude in the studio, yeah, we can ship this, it's fucked, but you can't hide that it's so fucked. Just tell people how fucked up it is.
So, where you develop your game and your immediate surroundings and like what the rest of the industry looks like in your area is very important, because it determines how much someone can legitimately come to a point where they say, fuck this, I'm out, right? How reasonable is it that an employee that is at that point can say that based on their options if they were to do that? If their options are
to a different country.
That's exactly where I'm going with this.
That's the problem. That's a big problem.
If someone were at their breaking point,
a factor of that country's economy.
If they were at that breaking point, that would not be something they could do. Whereas if they lived anywhere in one of the major game tech development cities here in North America, yeah, you
or
could
even
be
like England or France or whatever.
Sure, but if you're in Montreal, if you're in LA, if you're in fucking Copenhagen, you can be like, all right, fuck this, that's that. But a CD Projekt is not that kind of situation.
This game does not technically likely reach the legal definition for what you would call a scam, but I can with confidence say that this is absolutely a grift. This is a hustle.
I think that you're seeing a salvage job on a project that probably was never on track to live up to the promises that it gave.
I can't imagine what this game looked like in April.
Yeah.
Like everybody needs to really think about that. The game's original hard locked release date. How bad could it have possibly been?
Anybody on people on the ground floor know sitting there in March, like they're just laughing at the whatever announcement is supposed to fucking stick to that date. But I've worked on a lot of games where it is the 11th hour and people are still just testing on a debug menu straight to level loader because a top to bottom's full playthrough is still incompletable. There's tons of situations where you're like, yeah, like the full run from 0 to finish.
Hope it comes together next week.
Doesn't yet. We're not there yet. Working on it. We got our best guys working on it. They're doing it, but as of now, everyone is still loading in directly to the areas to test them because you can't just get there through progress, Well,
that's BioWare magic right there.
Yeah. It's interesting because I mean, like, if you, I guess it depends on what your definition of grift is, right? I see this as being nearly identical to the No Man's Sky setup, where an idea was formed, and then the technical know-how was discussed and put together, but then somewhere along the lines of translating your game design into an actual, like, a functioning pipeline of development, I imagine over the course of all those years, that thing just never worked. And we don't know how many times they must have scrapped and went backwards, but the answer is clearly minimum twice they would have thrown everything out and started again.
So it feels very No Man's Sky, obviously.
Yeah, No Man's Sky is absolutely the analog to this. Yeah.
However, they did one thing which removes all. So there's a great video by internet historian called The Ingoodening of No Man's Sky, in which he breaks down Sean Murray in particular, who was the source of a lot of the bullshit. And he basically makes a really strong case for the fact that Sean Murray is a really anxious, not good at public speaking guy who was on the Tonight Show suddenly making his indie game, and he kind of just freaked out and overpromised. And I can believe that. CD Projekt told you couldn't show people what the game really looked like until they had bought it. That's a decision.
Yes, and
we are deliberately trying to get this into people's hands before they know what's going to happen.
And that's where the moving gears of AAA step in. And a department exists to look at the product and go, what can we do to make this seem as not nightmarish as possible? And they have no qualms about just lying to you or hiding whatever is unpleasant. And the, whatever like small indie honesty you would get doesn't exist when the fucking thing is that big, Also, the No Man's Sky situation, much older, and we have the benefit of hindsight, which, like the internet historian video calls it, accurately, I believe, the Ingoodening of No Man's Sky. Yes. They went on to add every feature that was ever talked about, and way, way more than they ever talked about. They were on point with what they were talking about. I bring up No Man's Sky so that I can say I sincerely do hope that this can get Ingoodened into the state that people are looking at No Man's Sky next with right now, where they're like, yeah, it got there. It would be really lovely to see it get there over time. But in the meantime,
do you remember 2 weeks ago where CD Projekt, I think it was a lead or somebody, was like, wow, the games run really well on Xbox One and PS4. It's crazy how well they run on the old consoles.
Oh God,
that was like
fuck
2 weeks
off.
ago.
You see, but like
active deception.
So
is
this
different.
is in the meantime, we can accept a world where you're going to make the game finished eventually and be good, and hopefully at that point everyone will be like, yay. But don't fucking piss in my Cheerios and ask me what's wrong in the meantime. Just don't do that. Don't hide what you're selling people. Don't lie about getting refunds. Don't start doing the fucking, the legal department, marketing department, publisher bullshit that gets in the way of, like, people are already upset enough at the product they're holding. You don't need to make your attitude sully the experience even harder. And I think if it does eventually polish up and get done in about a year's time, maybe even 6 months, but let's be real. With time in the equation, give it a year. Don't
know. So I was under the initial impression that the game's real release date would be the next gen release on the new consoles, right? However, with how I'm talking to somebody and the description of just how fucking burnt to a crisp that team is, I don't know how much good they could do in 6 months. Like, those people are tired.
I mean, I've seen fucking like third-party studios get called in to sit at desks and fix builds. I've literally seen, all right, fuck it, we're sending the game to Ottawa.
They're not going to do that. In fact, they even said they weren't going to do that in that conference call. They were asked, will adding more people to the team make it go faster? No, we're at the point in the project where adding more staff would not make it go faster.
Well, there's a difference between going faster and, like, actually fixing it. If you straight up need to I don't know. But yeah, if the level of burnout is basically one where they're just like, you're telling people, hey, so you hit the finish line, but it ain't the finish line, and you got another 12 months of this to go. That's horrendous.
Yeah,
to imagine.
when people are going, can we get some comped psychiatrists in here because people are depressed and maybe want to kill themselves? They're so burnt out. I don't know how much good ass work you can squeeze out of those people.
So a common topic on the podcast has been, recently especially, has been like the dumpster fire that could. And we got into this every time we followed a Fallout fucking update. Anytime we went into Anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we went into any of these games that just launched in a laughably fucking unplayable state, and then we'd always go like, okay, but maybe they can Hello Games it, right? Maybe 76 can eventually get to whatever. Is No Man's Sky the only example?
It's the only one.
It's the only example, isn't it? It's the only example of the full 180.
Final Fantasy 14, but that's a different game?
It's a different game. I don't count that.
Completely different game?
I don't count a different game.
You can...
it really
No
feels
Man's
like
Sky is pretty good now.
It's only No Man's Sky. Okay. Was Warframe garbage?
Warframe oscillated between complete garbage and pretty cool at almost once a year.
Okay.
Its entire life cycle. So I don't know how to answer that question.
Because like I don't think it's like if you're talking about a situation where you're like, oh man, this game is a mess, but like it's not really a mess. The game, like it's a game where you enjoy it, it's fun, it's making tons of money, it's a success. It's just got like balancing issues and a couple of other dumb things, and then they kind of like for example, like Overwatch or something, where you're like, oh god, all the bullshit of that, and then they add things and whatever, and then it turns around. I'm like, that doesn't count.
People are saying
I'm talking about
Master
a
Chief
project on
Collection,
fire.
got fixed, and that was on fire. For Honor and Siege had rough launches, but they weren't this.
Yeah. Okay.
This is right there.
Yeah.
With Anthem and 76.
I wouldn't like, just to be honest, like I wouldn't even count Street Fighter 5 because like
Street Fighter kind of mediocre launch.
It had a fucking bare bones ass launch, and the game was there. It played. It was there. It worked. It happened. I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about the No Man's Sky level of fucking kazoo Jurassic Park music.
Yeah, that's a whole genre now.
Yeah, because that's what this is. Cyberpunk is kazoo Blade Runner music. If no one's done that already. No one's done that already? All right. Well, there you go. That one's free. And
everybody uses the Jurassic Park one because it just hits.
Yeah, but obviously we need to,
Yeah.
So this is what it is. I guess No Man's Sky really is the shining example, and good on fucking Sean and Hello for that.
It's like 20 people.
It's doable. It can be done.
Yeah. And that's now that we have hindsight, you can look at that and they overpromised. They didn't. They overpromised and put their foot in their mouth, but it didn't come from a place of deception. It feels like it came from a place of panic. Whereas the Cyberpunk situation, especially over the past week, has been like, let's just get it out. Let's just tell them whatever you need to tell them until they buy it, and then they won't be able to refund it.
So we all hate this word, but this is actually the time for a roadmap. It feels garbage to say, but this is actually the time, one of the few times, to release the roadmap. This is what it's for.
I mean, they released the roadmap, which is there will be a patch and there will be a patch. But roadmaps don't mean shit. Anthem had a roadmap, and the roadmap was so bad that they had to cut half of the roadmap off and then alter the ones in the existing roadmap, and then they didn't even fulfill those.
See, but the thing is if you can show a roadmap of what your actual fix plan is, like, again, No Man's Sky, we're going to say it again, then you at least are able to assess your problem, and you're showing that you're capable of fixing it, right?
So that's the weirdest thing. No Man's Sky didn't have a roadmap. They just put out updates that was like, here's 100 new features.
But didn't they also talk about what was coming constantly on their blog?
They talked about fixes and shit like that.
I seem to recall a huge transparency blog.
It was like it's bad, and then they didn't say anything, and then the fucking massive update came out that fixed tons of shit and added
head down
tons
and
of
work.
Shit. And then they didn't say anything.
All right.
And then another huge update came out.
All right.
They were completely fucking silent.
Okay. Well,
a lot of people were super mad because they assumed that they took the money and ran. Right? And then a couple months later, no, I think it was the Beyond update.
All right. Head down and work. All right.
It was around the second or third of those updates that people were like, oh, they're doing it. Oh, they're totally doing it. Oh, okay.
You know what's awesome?
They learned that talking it up was what got them into that problem. So playing No Man's Sky or being a fan of No Man's Sky right now is a really weird thing because every 3 months, they just add another 10% to the game, and you're like, oh, cool. There's absolutely no build up to it at all.
You know what's awesome? When you and your team look at your game and go, holy fuck, we got to add this feature and we got to do this and we got to fix that. And you look at the situation as if it were a dumpster fire. but actually it wasn't a dumpster fire. You just released some hot shit, and then you continued to update it with new hot shit. Neo. Neo 2. Let's fucking go.
Neo and Neo 2. Yeah, let's all give a nice golf clap.
Just out of nowhere appreciation.
Neo and Neo 2.
For the fucking Neo franchise. I want to give a golf clap
to the Monster Hunter series.
Treat it like you gotta fucking fix some shit, but you actually released a banger. But you're just fixing it, you're updating it anyway.
Warhammer Total War 2. That's a good one. Vermintide had a good update thing. These were all good. These were all good things that were done.
Yep.
Those games sold a shit ton of copies. And they were only easier and easier to recommend over time. Let's give a clap to Terraria.
Do we have any lessons?
Dead Cells.
Do we have any lessons about hype culture that we want to get into, or no?
Yeah, I have a lesson about hype culture. I became unhyped from the game when they did the April delay, and I think it was on this podcast. I'm like, I don't know, something about delay wasn't sitting right with me because I assumed. Let's all clap for Hollow Knight. Because I was assumed something was wrong, and then I got confirmation that something was wrong, and then as the game got closer, we all expected something to be wrong. But I was still hyped to see it, right? But I'll tell you what, even from a perspective of, I actually got anti-hyped the day before, where I was excited to see it break. Where I was like, oh cool, we're going to Skyrim launch through the universe. Right? It didn't even break in fun ways for me. It broke in infuriating ways. Constantly. So, even if you can get hyped for garbage, the garbage will often disappoint you.
Go on.
That's it. That's the end of it.
Okay.
Temper your expectations even once you have assumed it is trash. Because it can still disappoint you.
Well, yeah, I believe the difference between hilariously bad and fuck you, I can't play this is still quite, is as far as hilariously bad to like fucking incredible. It's a whole other metric. So, yeah. All right.
You imagine playing through that game right now and getting to the ending, and the ending doesn't work. Like you struggle through the whole thing, and then the ending just doesn't work.
So the PS5 version manages to keep its frame rate up and manages to
the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions brute force their way through a lot of the problems that the earlier consoles have.
Okay.
Because they're running on the low settings, but they're able to actually hit them. But then you're done with the performance more or less, and then you just deal with everything else.
Max says, I remember when 7R's biggest competition was Cyberpunk a week later. Whoa, damn if that happened.
I do. Oh,
man.
Oh, man. That controversy over 7's plot would be nothing.
Ooh.
Who cares?
Oof.
Oh, man.
My God. Just cloud curb stomping the shit out of V. Oh, boy. That would have been a wild universe. Yeah, thank God we're not in it. That would have been brutal. You don't need to put out a game like Cyberpunk as is right now with a fucking competitive weekend to further, emphasize the problem. Dear God. Yeah. 7 Remake would have looked like the game of the decade by comparison. It's crazy. Like the contrast would have been stupid. 100%. Yeah, okay. Well, um, I'm saying 12 months. I'm saying 12 months. You know, do
CD
we
Projekt
like
went from being golden era Valve to modern era Blizzard in one day.
right? What were you gonna say about their Witcher era? The Witcher era version of the company.
This is all the same shit. It's just 10 times worse.
Okay.
It's
It really
BioWare.
isn't
It's
that
literally
different.
the BioWare magic thing. Like Witcher 1 came out really fucked up, but they did the enhanced edition. Witcher 2 came out fucked up, but not as fucked up as Witcher 1. And they did the enhanced edition. Witcher 3 came out really fucked up, but that game's incredible, so people let it slide a little bit. And then they worked on it for forever. And all those same practices that led to all those problems just all congealed into an untenable mess with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, if they don't turn this around, like that's the whole company, right? Like that's
It's all they make. They make
It's
one game every like
literally
4 years,
everything.
5 years. And they have the distribution service. Which they won't reveal how many copies of Cyberpunk on PC were sold on GOG versus Steam, which leads me to believe it's like 95.5.
Yeah, I think they successfully took the heat off of Naughty Dog with the
Right.
top position for most ire at the
Most
moment.
crunchy.
I
Well,
think so.
Naughty Dog does have one ace in their sleeve. I don't know if this is news or not. But, congratulations to Naughty Dog for winning Best Direction for Last of Us 2 after grinding your employees to dirt. Good job, guys. That's how we want to do it in this business.
All right. Part 2 is hey, maybe we shouldn't super applaud those results if the way that they got there is super dubious and sketchy and shit. Says Kotaku
maybe.
article.
Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment.
Now, I don't remember the name, but the main character of Twitter then signed on and flexed his knuckles and cracked his fingers and got to tweeting. And I believe the response was hey, what's the exact wording? 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝘀 guy? What's the exact wording?
You're talking about your friend and mine got addicted to WoW and blew millions of dollars on the development of Duke Nukem Forever, George Broussard.
George Broussard. Thank you.
Saying you people don't. I'm gonna go find the.
That's exact. I'm like, fuck it. Get it right.
I'm gonna go find the fucking.
Get it right.
Thing.
Get it right. I'm not. I started to paraphrase. I'm like, no. Let's get it right.
No, let's go get the fucking. I'm gonna tell you talk about. I've got to scroll on this.
I got to scroll going too. We can scroll.
We can scroll because I quoted him. I ratioed the shit out of that dumb bitch. Here's some tweets about Callie trying to get Persona 3 from Atlas. Good luck with that. They're not gonna let you play it.
Here we go. So games made under crunch conditions don't deserve Best Direction awards, says Kotaku, or specifically to says Ian Walker, who wrote the article, because editorials. So George Broussard then replies, "Oh, fuck off. You have no idea what it takes to ship world-beating AAA games, and you take the word of disgruntled ex-employees versus hundreds that are happy there. Also, comparing a 20-man indie to a 300-person studio is stupid."
All right, in order. Neither do you. You're famous because 4 years after Doom came out, you took 38 people, which is triple Doom's development team, and made a Doom clone that stole one-liners from Evil Dead. Then your entire footprint on your fucking rest of your career is having too much time to play in fucking World of Warcraft to release one of the shittiest games ever that then Randy Pitchford had to fucking finish for you. 2, I know for a fact that the devs at least CD Projekt are fucking miserable, and I can't imagine that the people crunched into dirt at Naughty Dog going, I love being crunched. It's good to not see my children. It's my favorite.
Like the image of fuck these disgruntled ex-employees. They're talking mad shit. Everybody loves it here, right, guys? Yeah.
You have to say yes or you are fired.
Love it. Love my job. Food on the table rules.
All right. I'm heading out to Little Caesars to get everybody dinner because we're going to be here all weekend. Who likes pineapple?
I like pineapple, great leader.
That's great, Wooly.
I mean, look, he goes on, but like, I think the first one is all that matters there. So, congratulations to George Broussard for being the main character of Twitter for a day. That was pretty strong.
It didn't even feel like a day. It felt like for like an hour.
It was.
He blocked everybody who replied to that tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically enough, because I quote tweeted it, he did not block me.
Because that art, I mean, for a site like Kotaku to like put that article out there and have that be front and center, I'm like, good job, kudos. That's a good take. That's a good thing to put out and make sure people are aware of, because this is a multifaceted problem that doesn't go away unless multiple studios are pressured into making it go away, because currently the industry is more or less setting itself up, has already set itself up for mandatory AAA development that requires crunch.
By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you check George Broussard's likes, you'll see that him and the official Naughty Dog Twitter account follow each other.
Yeah, sure.
Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
The VGAs was the worst VGAs that the VGAs have ever VGA'd. This was a bad VGAs. This was a bad VGA.
Hold on now. I did see Last Surprise performed live. That was pretty cool.
I didn't.
Why not?
Because we were co-streaming it on Twitch. And when they go, here's a musical performance. You go, no, you don't.
Oh, man.
So everybody was wondering about whether or not you should mute trailers and shit like that, right? Jesus. And then people talked to Jeff Keighley on Twitter, and Jeff Keighley was like, we've cleared all of our music on Twitch, so there shouldn't be a problem. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it should be okay, dude.
But
in the middle of this, there are trailers with fucking, oh god, what was it? Was it fucking Space Oddity? They were playing David Bowie songs in some of the trailers.
No one wants to make promises, because then when they don't adhere to them, and
Black Sabbath too.
Like if anyone makes promises and then you go like, you promised this, and then it doesn't go that way, then they're
morally responsible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and the wild shit where I love how, again, to reemphasize, looking at everything that's going on with like Twitch teams, development, hiring, etc. You're seeing all these jobs that they're posting, and none of them are for people that would help structure a flagging system to let people know about what is going on with infractions and to help them not get their channels banned. None of that is anything they're emphasizing or mentioning working on. All of their heads up to the creators has been just about, hey guys, sorry, we know it sucks, turn all your shit off.
Just turn it all off.
Stop using the platform, essentially.
Just stop streaming.
And I believe like the timeline is such that then OBS develops that soft fix, which needs investigating, where it's like, okay, well, you can now stream 2 different lines of audio through OBS and make it so that VODs
and then
hear
Twitch
one
is
thing.
like, don't worry, we got live DMCAs coming.
And that's exactly. And then suddenly the ability to iterate new tech shows up, and Twitch goes, oh fuck, turns out we can make new things happen. And what we're gonna do is make sure that thing that OBS just did no longer helps you anymore, because we're gonna flag you live, and we're working with people on getting live flagging going down. So that is sweet, and thanks to the DMCA for helping us develop new ways to fuck over everyone involved in this process. Now hold on a minute. You might be thinking to yourself, that sounds pretty terrible. They're actively finding new ways to make the life shit for people that are streaming. Well, can we go a little bit further, perhaps? Because
let's go south.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Little bit south.
Let's hop in a car and drive down across the border to our good friends in the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, how y'all doing down there?
What's up? Well, as some of you might have heard, if we take a stop down by good old North Carolina, your senator representative is one Mr. Thom Tillis. And Tillis...
Hello, Mr. Tillis. How are you? What are you up to?
Is doing his darndest to get a must-pass government funding bill through that will include felony charges for violations of streaming copyright.
Sick!
So if you violate DMCA, fuck getting banned, fuck getting your channel revoked, fuck your pay or your whatever your job, fuck all of that. You need to go to jail. And once you go to jail, you need to be charged as a felon. And then when you are charged as a felon, you can no longer vote. You are literally a second-class citizen in society in certain ways, because you are up there with literal murderers, rapists, fucking like the worst of them. And this is you, streamer, who may or may not have had the go-ahead from the content to stream the thing, and then accidentally it turns out, oops, we told you that you wouldn't get flagged, but that mode of the game didn't work, so you did get flagged. So now your life
streamer that was walking down their street in a local convenience store was playing the new hit single from the radio, and it technically came through on your screen.
So now you are fucking literally ruining your life when, if this kind of thing goes through, and you combine it with something like what we talked about with CD Projekt earlier, putting out a game where the DMCA off mode doesn't work. And fucking fast forward to Narcos season Twitch. Like, where this is a thing, and you go, okay, now you read that, you blink, you read that headline again, and you go, like, what? How is this even a real topic? And then it takes you about 2 seconds to find out that Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina is massively bankrolled by MPAAs and RIAAs and every major media lobby that wants to see anybody remotely close to an infraction murdered. Like,
I would like to say, actually, I think the saddest part is that he's not massively bankrolled. He got paid like $25,000 or some piss ass amount. Like, it's pathetic.
Excuse
it's
me.
Fucking depressing.
I would hate to misrepresent the situation. My understanding was that he was in the pocket of big media because
he is. It's just that he's cheap
as special interest groups to his bullshit.
Oh yeah, he is. He's just he's easy to buy.
Okay. So
he absolutely is. It's just cheap man ruin.
Well, hold on. Many entertainment industry super PACs gave Tillis contributions early in the 2019 to 2020 cycle, totaling well over $100,000, according to the Federal Election Commission records. Executives of Fox, Sony, Charter, CBS made large donations in the third quarter of this year.
Let me put it to you this way.
He received donations from the MPAA, Sony, ASCAP, Universal Music Group. Oh, the good people. Oh, the Universal Music Group. Who go ahead. All right.
Critical has probably spent more dollars opening up fucking cards than it took for this guy to try and kill you on the internet.
Let's literally destroy the children's lives for $100K in my re-election campaign, in my fucking yep. So
this I say, people asking, hey, how's this work in Canada? Well, it's simple. You get hit with a DMCA takedown, and Mr. Tillis and or his ilk say, hey, that's bad. You're going to get a felony. To which point you tell him to extradite your Canadian nuts directly into his mouth.
Wow.
And then he hopes that he can get a taste.
Universal Music Group, Comcast, and NBC Universal are on that list as well as Warner Music and such. UMG in particular, noteworthy, as Little V has recently explained that they were being sued by a fuck ton of major artists because it turns out they literally... you know that thing where you don't get to own the rights to your music because you're an artist, and then they show up and go, we're buying everything, we own you and your catalog, this is the contract you sign in order to get on and in order to get distribution. Yep. And sometimes we will sign you if you are competing with an act that we actually have that we want to push, and we will sign you to never use you just so that you will not take away attention from the act we're trying to push. Fucking bullshit. So it turns out they literally destroyed the masters of thousands upon thousands of hours of legendary music because there was a massive fire that burnt down warehouses where the masters were being stored. This happened 10 years ago, and they never told anyone that it happened. And so artists that went to go get their masters were essentially given the runaround and dodged and infinitely put into fucking like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. But they literally destroyed music and were continuing to charge people and act as if they had access to it and did not tell anyone that this happened. Fucking insane, stupid, super evil UMG.
Yeah, the music industry has always been the worst. It's always been the worst out of all of them. There's no comparison. Like, they're like fucking Blood Diamond level corrupt evil.
Yeah. So what's there to say about the individual who proudly puts his name and face all over a must-pass bill where something that's already bullshit, something that our constant conversation is about how ill-prepared platforms are for things like DMCA and how there is not enough like transparency and there aren't enough tools to let people who stream and make content know about what's happening with these laws and rules, and essentially
this old ass man doesn't know what a DMCA or a Twitch is.
Well, no, he's being told by the people who are paying him to put this in the stack of papers and push it forward, and that's what he's doing. But the end result is, you are committing a crime that is usually reserved for violence.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. So I like, that's that type of story that just like, it's so alarming, and apparently it's not the first time, but it's so alarming.
They've tried this before.
That, like, especially in light of what's going on now, that you kind of hope to see, like, you hope that there is infinitely negative attention from the internet that leads to this person basically being removed from their seat when the time comes and relegated to, like, nothing in politics ever again by being associated with this kind of bill. You would hope.
I would not waste my time hoping about things happening in the politics of countries that I do not live. That seems like a really, really futile effort on my part.
I hear you, but when America farts, we smell it.
It's true.
Make no mistake that if people doing what we do right now could be considered felons for random stupid shit that gets flagged that, again, you don't even know what's going on or why, or worse yet, when it's falsely flagged by someone who doesn't own the rights, as many are wont to do, you better believe that it would affect things in such a way that the platforms we're on are going to then change things to make it still be shit for us, even if we're not there. Even if you might not be considered a felon in Canada, the after effects are going to be still major to you.
Wooly, you're completely right. However, I'm 34 years old, and I've watched over my whole life as people yell down, "Yo, stop farting, it smells!" And they go, "Maybe another bowl of chili. Maybe I can get one more chili in there."
So that old man on the block who was seeing what was going on, that was like, "Oh, don't do that. That's 5 to 10. Right? Remember that old man that tells you, because he's been around, he's seen everything, and he knows the exact amount of time you're going to spend in jail for what you do. Yeah, so it turns out he was talking about playing a trailer on stream and watching it.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Did they use breathy vocals that belonged to a real band? And
yeah, it happened that we were watching the VGAs, and anytime we heard a person's voice in a song, we just muted the fucking thing right off the bat. Great. So on a less serious note, oh my god, what a nonsense shit show the VGAs were in terms of their award structure. Let me ask you a question about awards, Wooly. There's always some kind of award that's
Police
like
sirens.
best direct.
Police sirens. Sorry. Go on.
That's like best director or best direction, or, you know, some nebulous quality that really feels like the consolation prize for Game of the Year, but it's not Game of the Year. Come on, right? It's the other Game of the Year, right? Did you feel this way about these types of awards?
What specifically do you mean?
So VGAs has something called Best Direction, which is not the Game of the Year, but it is the one that comes out right before Game of the Year, and it has no criteria at all. Like,
okay.
I don't know what best direction means.
So is this like when the Oscars was saying, "Oh, let's add people's choice to the categories," right? Or whatever? Yeah, okay.
And I always interpreted them as this is the game of the year that didn't win game of the year, right? It's really totally pointless when you make the game of the year and best direction the same fucking game. And your whole goddamn thing can burn down if you have 13 Sentinels in the narrative category and it loses to Last of Us 2, a game that has a bad story.
Was 13 Sentinels nominated?
It was the final nominee in that category. And I can only imagine that the only reason it even got nominated is there was at least 2 people in that group of 40 reviewers that would not stop screaming on the conference call until it at least got nominated.
And you guys want me to sit and fucking watch this shit, huh? I'm supposed to sit there and fucking... Oh, my God. Yeah.
I think people brought up a list like Doom Eternal, FF7 Remake, and all these other games won like 0 awards at all. And like Hades won... Hades won Best Action Game only, I think? And then fucking Last of Us swept every other goddamn winner. Like, FF7 won Best Music, which it totally deserved.
As someone who is like dedicating a major portion of my content to dispelling the myth of the hardcore and embracing casual fighting games and people and players and bridging that gap, nothing makes me fucking feel more anti-casual than a list of nominees from the fucking VGAs.
Oh, somebody pointed out
that
Last of Us 2 won every award it had been nominated
for. Sure. Yeah.
Every single one.
When you see that type of shit in there and you see, again, One Punch Man and all of that, it's Jump Force and every one of these, like, holy fuck, you don't talk to anybody that actually is in there. None of this is coming from people that are in there with these games. It's the most fucking... And again, I hate it, but it's casual shit, dude. It's casual as fuck. And I don't want to sit there and fucking and subject myself to it. I'm not interested. Fuck off. All of these genres, all of these things. I
thought these people were both experts reading the thing, doing the video game.
Oh God, and I'm trying to find it, but I believe 𝗕cie Edwards tweeted out something about how like an award for like music and for score was done like off camera, apparently.
Yeah, it was done during the non-main show segment that was relegated to like a kind of commercial break.
Yeah, that fucking sucks, man. You know, it's that same Oscar treatment where it's like, and during the commercial break, here's 2 seconds of, you know, the fucking VFX team being like, yeah, we got the, yeah, you don't matter, that's nice. You know, by the way, you're all fired.
I don't think, was FF7 in the fucking game medley this time? I can't even remember because I couldn't hear it. Because like I remember last year for Nier Automata won Best Music and was not in the video game medley that they had.
All I know
they
is
finally put it in this year. This is good.
All I know is it went from Hades into Animal Crossing. So,
well, Sephiroth got announced for Smash.
He did. You know what? I don't have that much to say except that's a really good pick. I don't think anyone was calling it out. I don't remember anyone
nobody
really
called that.
I don't remember anyone calling it out. They put Ken in there, so there are secondary representatives. You know?
So that's all I have to say. And it's literally the same thing I said about Ken. If you got a third party to give you rights to characters, 1 rep per game, please.
Okay, Max called it out, but that doesn't count because Max is fucking
Max is
FF7 man.
Max has Sephiroth into the mirror
as
when
he lives and
wakes up in the morning.
breathes. He fucking brushes his teeth saying Sephiroth, like
No,
that.
well,
You know,
Sephiroth, yeah.
that's like
That's
like Kenny calling for Sub-Zero. Like it's not all right. That's not it. Come on, you know we're not talking about that.
But yeah, I really dislike that like Square Enix has a shit zillion characters. You could have picked anybody, but you picked another FF7 character. I would have appreciated. Like, I don't even like Sora anymore, and I would have preferred Sora because he would be from a different game.
I'm Mr. Likes the original picks and the cool stuff, and I'm the guy that would be saying, yeah, Neku would be great. But
like,
nah.
You know what's the weirdest thing about Seph getting in? I'm not upset about Sephiroth getting in. I'm now actually re-upset over Ken getting in. Because Ken should be Dante.
Yeah, Ken should be Dante.
Because Ken is Dante.
Pretty close. Yep. And Bayo's right there. We could have had it. The moment was right there. Sephiroth was the right choice. I think it's a fucking excellent choice. It's a good pick, and the trailer is obviously super sick, and the reveal is great, and you know it's like who can be deserving of that level of fucking entire cast versus you energy? Oh yeah, okay, sure, totally.
I will say one positive thing about Sephiroth being in Smash. Well, aside from the fact that he looks great, this is actually the latest step in a very long-running meta-narrative that starts with FF7, goes to Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, and maybe some other Kingdom Hearts games, the Dissidia games, the remake, etc., which is literally even when Cloud goes to different video games, Sephiroth will still follow him and be a creepy fuck.
The clip of them exiting Kingdom Hearts, and then Sora looks at them and goes, they went somewhere else to continue their battle or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was like
guys,
it directly one-to-one links, and it's like, yeah, if he keeps popping up out of his fucking head, then sure, that'll be a persistent problem. Everyone panics and Cloud just rolls his eyes again. It's great.
That being said, I will also give a big clap to Nintendo. Their recent actions with the Smash community, good promotion for Sephiroth giving Smash despair. Very funny. You guys can quit it now.
Yeah, they picked the final boss of video games, and that's good. So that's a smart choice. What you need to wait for, to hold on to that Ken anger and wait for the reveal of 𝗕cie𝘀𝘀𝗶𝗴 has motorcycled his way in. and then you can start complaining again.
I will say that like the internalized giggling that I felt when I saw that the most ancient and stupidest meme, which is Sephiroth giving you despair, roared back to life instantly. It's the worst joke. It's the worst joke, and I love it. I love it. You just Photoshop a fucking pear into the man's hand.
Personally, I there's something that happens that every single time a Smash character gets announced, I forget about the Kirby part until someone immediately renders it.
Oh man.
And it's a joy to behold every time. I'm like, oh yeah,
Kirby
the Kirby
now requires a full bottle of shampoo to wash his hair.
It's gonna be amazing. I hope he has at least one leather strap. They might not go that far, but it would be really cool.
It's just gonna be the hair.
If he had one leather strap. And yeah, in other words, though, brilliant distraction from the other dumpster fires going on right now. You know, because that's kind of what we were saying, if anything, right? Where it's that, like, there's this stuff happening at the hardcore community level for Smash Brothers and for Splatoon, and in general, all over online and all over Twitter, but at large, there is just the rest of the world that doesn't know or care about any of that stuff, and they're gonna hear about Seph and Smash Ultimate, and Smash Ultimate continues to be a thing. So, like, you know, it's very easy to get too close to the story. And
do you think
it's bigger than it is?
In Remake 2 that they'll finally kiss?
I mean, after all this time, like,
Sephiroth's really wanting them to kiss.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
It'd be pretty sweet if, like, he kind of went for it, and then, like...
And then Cloud's erection was so large, it pushed him away.
And then he pushes him off. And then he pushes him off.
Yeah, and he's like, no.
But he lets it happen for a moment.
And then shares like a fucking dead-eyed, emotionless embrace with Tifa.
No, fuck that. That's too hard. That leans in too hard. What you really need is in the middle of monologuing, the camera just needs to slowly zoom in on Sephiroth's lips, and then he'll say his line, and then he'll lick his lips, and then it'll cut back to Cloud just going, oh. He'll just have a shocked moment.
Cloud will sweat. Just a little sweat.
He will sweat.
And people will be like, oh man, he's really freaking out. And I'll be like, yeah, his dick is. And then 𝗕cie𝘀𝘀𝗶𝗴? What the?
Nice.
I don't know. Man, you want to talk about
and hard cut to Jesse.
You want to talk about fucking Final Fantasy shit and the gay and people not seeing it? The fucking 14 patch just came out, 5.4, in which the culmination of that storyline is a recreation of the Final Fantasy VIII ending between two of the female characters, who the entire storyline has been about them losing their memories of each other and how much they care about each other and how they go for coffee and biscuits and how they make each other jewelry. And then they come out to a gigantic exploding nature scene with a gigantic rainbow crystal behind them. And people are going, they're just friends.
Sounds good.
They're just pals.
Sounds good.
They're just gals being pals.
Yeah.
And you're like, I literally cannot believe. The patch art is them holding hands. Are you people for real?
Yeah, it reminds me to similar things in... Well, just because it's what I've been fucking working on. There's with Guilty Gear, there's folks out there that seem to be either unaware or uncomfortable with the idea that Venom is madly, obsessively, super duper all about getting Zato all up inside of him.
That is, if you played Venom for 10 minutes, you would know that.
And Zato is kind of like, just hang around, we'll see. You know, and Milia's like, and he's like, we'll see, you know. And
Venom is literally a guy obsessed with his best friend wears a shirt that is just arms and has magic powers focused around manipulating sticks and balls. Get it together, people. Get it together. Pay attention.
Yes, and similar to what you just said, there is literally an ending of them dying together, hands reaching out to be held. Hands dead on the ground, reaching out to hold each other. You know, but hey, yeah. So, anyway. Just some good friends. Just some good friends.
Good, just people being pals.
That was your grandma's roommate.
They lived together for 55 years.
55 years.
That's crazy. I don't know how. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that funnier when they're lying, or they actually are like don't know?
I would say don't know, because
that's way funnier, right?
It's way funnier because they're like, there's a defense mechanism that's kicking in. You know, depending on how wholesome the family is trying to be, quote unquote. Where, you know, it just won't click in, it won't compute. But yeah, so you know,
that's why Venom hates Milia.
Yes, absolutely, can't stand her.
She's in the way of his favorite shadow-based peen.
It's not the first time a black dude has lusted after Takahiro Koyasu. Nor will it be the last.
Kind of flew over my head. I don't get what that one is.
Dio's got a black priest that wants his dick super hard.
Okay, right. I forgot Zato was voiced by Dio. Okay, there you go. 𝗕cie needs the vampires. Got it.
You know what the difference is, though?
What is the difference?
Very important difference.
What's that?
𝗕cie got it.
Yeah, 𝗕cie did get it.
He got it good.
I remember seeing that panel of part 6 of like them just hanging out with no shirts, reading books.
𝗕cie fucking got in.
Yeah. Just what you guys doing? We're just reading.
He was worthy of his grace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else was going on at the Game Awards? Well, some trailers dropped.
Yes. One trailer in particular blew my fucking mind and made me... I've never been so happy to not have gotten enough into a game that was the best game. And that's Disco Elysium. I have never been happier to have dropped off something even though I knew it was incredible and being like, I'll get to it when I have time, than fucking Disco Elysium.
You can talk to Reggie about the discussion we had, because... I've mentioned it on stream already, but the couple hours I played of that were so fucking incredible, and I pretty much went, I'm still trying to figure out if I can just get some fucking lozenges and some water and fucking LP this game, because
me and Paige went through a near identical conversation where I'm like, this is the best game.
It's so good.
My throat hurts.
It's so good. Yes. And I did a test run of what it would be like, and it was immensely unpleasant. And like 45 minutes in, it was fucking, it was bad. And we also tend to be stupid and make dumb voices for every character in the things we do.
Yeah, I stopped doing that right away playing Disco Elysium on stream.
Big part of some of the Wooly versus LPs is the casting that we do. Mario RPG was a great time.
When Paige played Undertale, I decided to fucking put obnoxious hick accent on Metaton, which I regretted immediately, because man, that character has a shitload of dialogue in Undertale.
Yeah. I decided to put fucking Macho Man voice.
Oh, is Alphys? I forget.
I decided to put fucking Macho Man voice on the Macho Man equivalent in that game, who happens to be the main focus of an arc, of the combat tournament arc. And you just like, I'm like, all right, so I'm just, this entire session is going to be me just going horse. Got it.
Ooh, yeah.
The whole time. Anyway, so yeah, Disco Elysium Special Edition is coming out, and it's getting full voice acting, and like the lightness in my body I felt when I saw that was, it was such a fucking good feeling.
So there were two parts to that.
They figured this out. They got it.
They announced full voice acting for every character. And everybody went and had the exact same question, which is, do you mean like every person on the street? Or do you mean every speaking role in the game? And they immediately clarified that for the purposes of this, that the stats count as characters. And my fucking stomach just opened up and happiness fled throughout my whole body.
God.
And I'm thinking about electrochemistry convincing you to lick that goddamn drop of whiskey off the counter.
Every stat talking to you is a character.
Different characters at that.
That is how. Okay. So something just that is a stupid, insane amount of recording work that they did.
That's like
right?
double or more of the voice acting, right?
Yes. If anyone is unfamiliar, like it is, there's just the mainline voice acting. There's side characters. There's all the branches of every conversation.
There's human.
There's the narrator overall, and then there's every stat that you have on your character that conflicts with the others, that can all go positive or negative on each interaction where it's available. It is I can't begin to imagine how expensive that must have been, but this is a free update. This is a free update
for people. I would like to quickly read off the stats that will talk to you in the new version of Disco Elysium. Logic, encyclopedia, rhetoric, drama, conceptualization, visual calculus, volition, inland empire, which is the David Lynch stat, empathy, authority, esprit de corps, which is the cop
name of
stat,
a movie,
suggestion, endurance, pain threshold, physical instrument, electrochemistry, it's the one that tells you to take drugs, shivers, half-life, hand-eye coordination, perception, reaction speed, savoir-faire, interfacing, and composure. The encyclopedia voice actor better get paid a lot, because holy shit, that one is out of control.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. And then to think that, again, this is all a free update, that's wild that they would give that away. Because I would pay premium to fucking buy a voice acting pack.
I want somebody doing their best David Lynch impression, trying to explain to me why the mailbox is talking to me, which I guess the mailbox will be voiced now. I want endurance to tell me about how cool fascism is. I want fucking visual calculus to explain to me in a nerd voice where my fucking shoe is. I want electrochemistry to scream at me that I can totally take those drugs without Kim looking. You know, like...
I mean, Inland Empire might not be a David Lynch voice. It might be the voice of the main character. That girl from the movie.
I want authority to scream at me to amp up my anger after someone tells me to fuck my own hap. More anger. Tell her that you'd fuck it.
So yeah, that just fucking meat's back on the menu, boys. Like I saw that and just went, great, sorted, happening, instant happening, so happening, hard happening. It's
instant infinity classic.
Like,
classic forever.
The only thing holding me back from fucking showing this off to everybody has just been the fact that it's a novel, and that is super solved.
And then you think, Dude, that means like Kuno has 5 times as many lines. I fucking love Kuno. Kuno's the shit.
Yeah, that's a I didn't see this announcement coming. That is one of the best things to hear. Not to mention some other shit too. I mean, we're throwing it all up there because that's the most impressive and fucking great part of it. But there's new political vision quests, more characters,
New areas,
and new content in general. So yeah, that's March 2021. Incredible.
Who gives a shit about Cyberpunk anymore when this thing is coming? Did you punch Kuno?
I don't think I got. Is that further in?
It's when you go examine the body. Kuno's there. You didn't even meet Kuno.
Oh wait, the kid.
Yeah, the kid.
Yeah,
the little redhead, little shit.
Yeah. Did I? Oh, he's such a shit. I don't remember if I did or not. It was a while ago.
I game overed by shooting the girl on the fucking fence.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember, but I remember that scene was very annoying. That child deserved to get everything and more.
I played through more of that game than you or I think Paige did. I got a little farther. I got to like the second day, and I got to like they tell you to go talk to the union rep, and then they tell you to talk to the company lady.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to the company lady, and I swear to God, there is like 10,000 words there.
And she is just she is the absolute quintessential company lady. Too.
Oh yeah, but it's like she's very long-winded, and I'm thinking about how long it would have taken me to say that shit out loud, and it was like 90 minutes.
Yeah. And just the fact that you can follow the conversation through to the helpful details that you need to get further in the story, or you can just derail it into how can I maybe squeeze her for some bucks because I'm super fucking broke.
Dude, him screaming at you to stop begging people for money is going to be voice acted.
You can scrape it, and you know she's probably got some. Oh, man. Yeah.
So, I am very excited to I'm looking at how long to beat right now. How long to beat says main story 20, main plus extras 29, completionist 40.5. I am excited to see these results become ruinous with the new update and become wildly out of whack. They should probably make a new version of this page. They should probably split them.
Should be. Yeah, you could make a new SKU there. Totally.
Because I imagine that now that everything will be voice acted, because people generally read much faster than they speak, that this will be doubled in length. Maybe more.
I'm also wondering how much dialogue control over the flying things will be handled because you'll have because there's lines that like the main conversation is happening here between you and the person you're talking to, and then your fucking Inland Empire is going off over here, Yeah. And there's like sub threads to pressing button prompts to go to the next thing. So,
I'm not basing this off of anything, but I can only imagine there's only a single character in the game that is not voice acted. And it's you.
Well, as long as your narration is there, you're fine.
Yeah, your narration is there, your limbic system is there, your reptile brain is there. But I cannot imagine they would actually voice act the cop.
Hobocop.
Art Cop. Did you get Art Cop?
I didn't get Art Cop.
Art Cop is the funniest thing in the entire game. Art Cop gives you a -2 to your hand-eye coordination because your hands are shaking with how shit it all is.
That's great. No. I hope that Hobocop can get a shotgun. That'd be pretty sick.
Try and get a regular gun first.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, I was just in my head. I just I like at least for a couple days this week, the line was stuck in my head. I'm taking a car to hell, and tonight you're riding shotgun.
Yeah.
So, that's fucking incredible.
Elysium, 2021's Game of the Year.
Disco Elysium, the final cut, 2021.
Congratulations to Disco Elysium for winning Game of the Year 2021 from every publication.
Wicked sick. There was a trailer for something small and interesting called Season. And this was just looks like an artsy game. Might be a walking simulator, hard to say, but the direction looks cool, and I'm curious to see what's going on with it. You know, may or may not be up your alley. It might just be up mine, but premise.
Oh yeah, that looked cool.
Premise seems to be that first generation of a group of people have like 1,000-year lifespans. Second generation has, I think,
100 years.
100, and then the third generation has a season.
That sucks.
It's looks art, and it looks pretty. I'd like to see what it's going to be. We got that. I mean, I suppose it happened. Like, we can talk about that fucking the new Cage thing. There's a new Quantic Dream going down.
I don't care.
Okay, Quantic Dream's doing.
We'll
something.
care later. We can care later.
That's fine.
Yakuza's now on everything.
That's cool.
You want to play Yakuza 1 to 7 on the PC, Xbox, or PlayStation? Sorry, 0 to 7.
If Quantic Dream is just publishing, then go forth with all the blessings in the world to that game. By all means.
Back 4 Blood got shown off again.
Oh, there is a new survival horror game set 100 years in the future of the PUBG universe.
That's right, sir. It's called the Callisto whatever. It's
the Callisto effect.
Callisto
effect. Yeah. Now, I may have gotten a heads up about this thing coming beforehand in terms of just what, and just the vague ideas of something being in the PUBG universe, and that was an eyebrow raiser, but it was like, all right, we'll see what it is when they drop it, and the fact that they went with like, it's just okay. Sorry,
it's called the Callisto Protocol.
Excuse me. Protocol. Hey. Titanfall into Apex Legends?
Yeah, no,
I suppose.
Because Titanfall has things.
Well, this is just a cinematic trailer. You know, we don't know what it's going to be.
The Callisto Protocol trailer was pretty fucking funny because it comes up with a thing with Striking Distance Studios, and you're like, I don't know who that is, right? And then the first thing you see is a prisoner hear monster noises, and he stands up and has a health meter on the back of his neck, and everybody goes, "Oh, this is a Dead Space game."
Yes, Striking Distance is a studio made by veteran Call of Duty and Dead Space folks.
And then a monster attacks our gentleman, and you're like, "Oh, that looks like a Dead Space. I wonder if they're doing a Dead Space." And then it gets to the end, and it's not a Dead Space. Huh, that's weird. And then Glenn Schofield,
yeah,
comes on the screen, and I go, "Oh, this is straight up a Dead Space. That's a Dead Space."
So Dead Space 100 years later in PUBG world. is, I mean, it's just hilarious that that thread exists to pull on.
Some businessman thought that would be super lit.
You know, it's a way of saying it's where, like, yeah, it's, we got a franchise here. The PUBG universe is a thing we can do stuff with, right?
There will be a frying pan in the game.
I mean, there is that character with the tie and the mask on the cover. Is that player unknown?
No. Player unknown is a human person that exists in the real world.
Okay, well then there's that guy on the cover with the tie and the mask.
Also, PUBG is literally just Arma and Unity assets, like store-bought Unity assets, like slapped together, and the game has no story. So
well, they're going to make one. They're going to imply the existence of these games for a reason, and the world that requires it will be fleshed out. This is anyway.
Okay.
Well, we'll
that's
see.
fine.
Dead Space was good, right?
Dead Space was incredible.
Yeah.
Right up until EA ruined it.
Okay, so yeah. Might just be a cool thing that is tied to
I'm very excited for this game because the Dead Space games that EA didn't ruin were incredible and remain classics.
Okay. So there you go. There was also a I mean, you know, I wasn't thinking it. I don't think many people were, but yeah, let's bring back Perfect Dark, I guess. Sure. I think the fact that we say it and people still think of the original, and
I think of Perfect Dark Zero.
Ah, well, you're special, aren't you?
Yeah, I sure am.
Yeah. Okay.
Well. Oh yeah. Wall guy right there. He's on the wall.
The Farsight was cool.
Farsight was cool. The Super Dragon was cool. The laptop gun.
Mm-hmm. So that's a thing.
I swear to God, if they show off a trailer for that game and they're like, "This is our gun," and it shoots, and then they switch to a different gun without using a weird alternate fire, you just burn that fucking game.
Just
down.
throw it out, right? Without showing the secondary.
Like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
my God,
yeah.
just fucking give up right now.
Yeah, totally. Retro is looking to hire a boss/AI designer for Metroid Prime 4. So, whatever that means, that's going down. But hey, the game is being made.
Metroid Prime 4 is even farther away than you thought.
But it's being made. It is there.
I have a stinking suspicion that all those Nintendo games that keep getting delayed are going to be like launch titles for the Switch Pro. That's my suspicion.
My time on this planet so far has been large stretches of time, and then randomly a Metroid title gets sprinkled in front of me.
That's correct.
If that continues to be the case, that's fine.
And you're like, man, fucking yeah, Federation Force.
Totes. For sure, no doubt. Yeah. Just yeah. And then I don't even get it, but
all right.
It just, seems like a bad idea, but apparently SNK is creating a brand new console in 2021. A system to bridge the needs between passionate fans and console gaming enthusiasts. I have no idea if this has anything to do with their recent acquisitions, but
yeah, it's a game console that has a really involved user agreement and asks you for your sexual preference, and if you put anything other than heterosexual, it explodes and kills you.
Well, that's important.
So be aware of that.
It might also trigger if the delicate feminine touch is detected on the controller if you press the buttons too softly.
It also has a part where it says, did your mom drive to the store to buy this for you? And if you answer yes, it asks your mom to come into the room so that she can fill out her part of the survey.
Well, no. There's every console nowadays has parental settings, but you do also have to have your husband settings too. It's very important.
True. Yeah.
All right, listen. They're making a console. I don't know why. I we'll see what it is, and that's all I want to say about it. That's all I want to say about it.
Man, this joke is going right over tons of people's heads.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
right over.
Mm-hmm. I guess people missed the last news story about SNK. The first one was the part where, I'm not talking about the artwork for King of Fighters 15 that came out recently, because a lot of people seem to miss it there. But Saudi Arabia just bought SNK. So
yeah. You know, so we're making fun of Saudi Arabia.
Or specifically MBS.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. So that's what's up. Yeah.
Oh, you don't get the mom part? Women aren't allowed to drive. So if your mom drove to the store, this is bad.
And the young progressive leader of the nation pretends to change things by moving forward in progressive ways, sports washing and such, while also denying basic human rights to people for lots of things. And it sucks. So that's up. All right. Anyway.
They patched that recently. Well, that's nice, I suppose.
Oh, okay. That's good. Can they patch Jamal Khashoggi back to life?
They could try. Let's ask CD Projekt if they can.
Anyway, console from SNK. And yeah, how about this? Codemasters is being acquired by EA.
Yeah, okay, that sounds horrible. Doesn't Sega own them?
No, I didn't think so. I thought they were on their own.
Sega owned Codemasters.
I thought Codemasters was on their own. Did you guys like Dirt? Did you like Grid? Did you like Project Cars?
Do you want the next Dirt game to be Dirt? Well, here you go.
Yeah, they were on their own.
I think Jim Sterling was the first person to make the comparison, but EA is literally the Unicron of video game publishers.
Damn. That's all right. That's a good line.
Like, they just move in and they put it in their mouth and they crush it to bits and then it's dead.
Yeah. See, but at least when you got the toy for Unicron and you transformed it, you could have like some fun in that moment where it's like you're wrestling a baby to fucking figure out how to turn it into robot mode.
Unicronic Arts, that's what he called it. There it is.
Damn. Well, Codemasters is now acquired by EA, and generally speaking, for those of you who might be new to the concept, that usually means touch of death, because
they'll be dead in 3 years.
What tends to happen when EA buys you out is they will fund you a lot in the short term to make what they want you to make, and then that will come out, but it will have been basically, the product of like shoddy whip cracking, so it might not resemble.
And it won't do the numbers that it had to have done.
It won't resemble the quality that you're used to from said name. And then when shoddy product put out under worse publisher conditions doesn't deliver from what they expected from the usual sales of good company, then they shut the company down. And
if you want to play through what it feels like to be an EA game, play Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 in a row. It is so like laughably obvious that is how that goes. You can feel it in the shooting.
Yeah. It's usually, again, the sign of business stepping in to kill the thing you love. If there's a company that you happen to love that's doing really well, they, you know, doing too well might mean acquisition and subsequent execution, gangland
That's
style.
right. Mass Effect did the same thing. Like, it's the exact same trajectory. Dragon Age 1 to 2. Oh, there's a good one. Revenge of Shit Mountain will never leave us.
DICE Canada, Origin Systems, EA Chicago, Pandemic Studios.
Yo, that first Mercenaries game is fucking awesome.
Bullfrog, batteries included. Maxis, Westwood.
Westwood's the one that hurts me the most.
Kesmai, Black Box.
It said a lot at just how outrageous Command and Conquer has been treated. That I believe the news. You remember that mobile piece of shit they put out on E3 last year or the year before? The Command and Conquer mobile crap.
I don't.
That, like, the fucking quote of the day was, I believe, 𝗕𝗲𝘀𝗀 pointing out, "Thank goodness my husband isn't here to see this."
Oh, Gemma, yeah. That
is it Gemma?
Yeah, the like that's an oof. That's a fucking oof. Yeah.
Do you know what? I never heard about that game ever again. That's literally the last thing I ever heard about it. I think she might have killed it.
So then Playfish, Pandemic, EA Mythic, EA Phenomic, Salt Lake, Novalogic, Accolade.
And there's no more Burnout games anymore. They killed Criterion, and then they killed Ghost Games, which was the sequel to Criterion.
This is the original Epic Game Store exclusivity deal. It's the original, like, it's an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah.
Because
and then they burn your company down.
Yep. But the money too good though. The cash too good, you know? And
yeah,
I mean,
and that's the worst thing, because the people who are in charge of that decision, who would get the cash, way too good of a deal. But the people who aren't in charge of that decision better start polishing up their fucking resumes.
Naturally.
Because they're going to be looking for work in 3 years.
And then the most talented of those people leave and go, fuck this, I'm making my own studio. They go on, they make some great games, they pull on a team, they get more employees, they get a small thing going, it builds up a reputation, and then Unicron rolls up
and takes
does
that new
what it
one
does. Too. Yeah.
There's something really genuinely incredible from a business perspective of having a reputation for killing studios so outrageous that upon purchasing a studio for its IP and talent, there is literally always a brain drain. So part of the thing you bought just leaves immediately. Like, well, every time. And the only way to not do that is to stop killing them after you're done with them after a couple of years. But they're not going to do that.
Well, shout outs to Codemasters. RIP. But we'll see. I mean, Respawn hung on. Right?
I think because Apex is doing well. Once Apex stops doing well, they're done.
I know.
I think the only deal that might be worse than getting bought by EA is being an independent developer that Microsoft asks you to make a game for them?
I would have said getting bought by Activision. Blizzard. Vivendi. At the height of its...
Yeah, these are all bad deals.
At the height of the fucking, amorphous blob.
I see someone in the chat say that Platinum dodged that. No, they didn't. They tanked it.
They took the hit. The damage was set. They lost
Scalebound being canceled almost killed that company.
Scalebound damage absolutely affected them, but they survived it. That's the difference. Yes.
With the help of our friends over at Tencent.
Oh fuck, that's true. I forgot.
Who by the way now own Warframe. I don't know if you caught that in the news, but Tencent now owns Warframe.
Tencent slid all up in the video. Slid all up in the video and just greased those palms. They started gyrating. Just getting real close. Tencent loves a good disaster like that. They love it.
Yo, this week sucks.
Not a good one. Not a good one. Let's make it better, shall we?
What do you got?
The Virgil DLC dropped, and Hitchhiker took a look at it, and he saw that Virgil has no cameo files because he's not part of the cameo system. So they didn't make an appearance file, make a file for him to appear in anything multiplayer related. Thus, there's no Virgil PvP or mods incoming because they didn't put it in. So that's done.
Well,
so not that I would expect that they would want that to be able to happen, but even incidentally, it cannot.
Well, that's a bad news, but Hitchhiker got a hold of me and told me that there is an empty difficulty.
Oh yes, there's a screenshot.
Difficulty selector.
Yes,
and that Steam database has 2 pieces of DLC listed for DMC5 that are unknown.
Yes, correct. So he took a screenshot and he said, "Yeah, I saw that of all the difficulties listed, and one of them is listed as legendary. So it's entirely possible, if this is not just like a vestigial limb, it's entirely possible that they might attempt to release Legendary Dark Knight for original DMC5 later as well. So there might be...
I would say there is a very strong likelihood that they will be releasing the RTX and LDK stuff for the PC in the near future.
So it wasn't announced alongside a special edition, but they're going to be putting it out then. Okay,
yes.
Well, there you go. But yeah, no Virgil and Strive.
I sure am happy that the guys are almost done doing the foundation of my house so that I won't have any leaks anymore.
And that was a content-filled silence pause on the podcast.
Can I have that soda?
It's my
Give
soda.
me the soda.
I'm
working. Thank you.
Anyway, I was gonna say what I was saying to him, but to Hitchhiker, but like it definitely is not it's not like the reasons for like Virgil not existing in the cameo system make sense. It's like, yeah, he wouldn't be there, right? But there's no way that the like added bonus of no further mods being possible with that is not something that they're happy about. Or rather, it's not something they're not happy about. Like, they must be like, oh yeah, no, we don't want to make it any easier to further mod the game in ways like that. So that possibly could have been a two birds with one stone situation. Might have been intended. Speaking of modding, however, someone did reach out to me. Yes, well, one Cameron let me know that apparently there is a project in the works that the Shadow of the Colossus community is putting together called Beyond the Forbidden Lands, that involves a team of volunteers working to resurrect the 8-cut Colossus battles. Dev team of about 25 strong right now, building from scratch based on as much info as they can dig up. And there's going to be a Discord with progress and updates, and the community is growing. Even OG pioneers like Nomad Colossus are there. So, if you're a Shadow of the Colossus fan, fucking stay tuned for some cool ass information about that.
I don't even really need to play that. I just kind of want to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see what those would look like completed.
Now, of course, the golden rule here that we're all aware of.
Shut the fuck up.
So we're moving on, shall we?
Hey, I have a news story that somebody just sent to me, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's from TechSpot. It's called The Ugly Side of NVIDIA, a roller coaster ride that shows when big tech doesn't get it. TechSpot and Hardware Unboxed were sent an email from NVIDIA that they are being blacklisted from review units of future NVIDIA products because they don't talk enough about ray tracing in their reviews.
So yeah, I saw that I saw that thread and I didn't quite get what was happening. So what's the controversy here?
They don't see things the same way that we, NVIDIA, gamers, and the rest of the industry do. Because TechSpot and Hardware Unboxed did not spend enough time breaking down the RTX effects on the new cards. Instead, they focused on traditional rasterization performance. You didn't do enough of a big ad for our RTX feature. No review for you.
Sounds bad, I guess. I don't know enough. I'm an uninformed.
Well, the main reason is because NVIDIA does much better at RTX, but it's a fringe feature. But AMD has been catching up very quickly in rasterization, so
Okay.
It is an unflattering comparison. So, reviewed it too good. No review for you.
Gotcha.
The graphics card manufacturers are absolutely super fucking crazy with their hardware review process. It's super fucked.
Hey, let's take a quick word from our sponsors, because we should have done that, but we didn't have a normal podcast.
That's true. We had a weird podcast. I have a question to ask you during one of our sponsorship segments.
Does it depend on who the sponsors are?
Yeah, it does.
Because you might be disappointed if...
I mean, that's possible. I'll just save it.
That the sponsor you're looking for is not present.
I'll just save it. It'll come back.
Yeah, a certain sponsor has been getting lots of groundswell in the community recently, and my character has been subjected to all kinds of arcs that I did not approve of.
What do you mean? What are you referring to?
Doesn't look like we got a sponsor this week that refers to anything I'm talking about, so don't worry about it. What you should be worried about is three things. Three things you should be worried about. The first of those things is your food. You want to make sure...
I like food. I'm kind of hungry right now.
Yes, so you should be concerned about your food, and what better way to get your food delivered to you than with DoorDash.
It's true.
You know what the deal is. Life is moving fast. There's a lot going on. There's not always time to deal with, putting together some sort of schlubby meal that you probably are bad at cooking anyway.
Maybe you ate too much chili and your ass is a war zone and you need to calm it on the chili.
Maybe you need to calm it on the chili.
Anything that's not chili. Yeah.
And most importantly, you want to get things from the outside world safely delivered to you. Well, DoorDash comes into play. They have all your favorite restaurants available. Over 300,000 partners in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Canada, Australia. Your local go-tos, your favorite national chains. It's all on there. You can get all up in it. You can hit the Chipotle.
I bet.
You can hit the Wendy's.
You can even find
hit the Cheesecake Factory
that would send you chili.
You can. Doesn't Chipotle have chili?
I don't know what that restaurant is.
It's a place where you can get a good bowl that's super keto and full of delicious meat if you wanted. So, yeah. Whenever I'm in America, I don't mind hitting them up. But we don't have them in Canada, unfortunately. Or at least not in French Canada. But that's besides the point.
Apparently there's a restaurant called Chili's. Okay?
There is a restaurant that is called Chili's.
Is there a restaurant called Chili's?
Yeah.
They have the slogan with... They have the slogan with the baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
What? God lives there. All right, that's Peach Saliva's review of Chili's.
Chili's baby back ribs. No? They got the NSYNC. Hey, listen. Anyway, you can probably get all kinds of chili options delivered straight to your door safely with the DoorDash. And all you got to do is download the DoorDash app. So right now, our listeners can get $5 off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE. It's $5 off and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code CASTLE. So don't forget code CASTLE for $5 off your first order with DoorDash. Thanks, DoorDash.
Thank you, DoorDash.
The second thing you should be concerned with is being able to watch cool shit and privacy at the same time when you're using the internet.
In the future, when Canadian streamers are banned from the United States due to being horrible felons, you'll need a VPN to watch them.
Can we preemptively
Do you have any suggestions, Wooly?
recommend ExpressVPN? The choice of Canadian stream felons coming soon to a dystopia near you. Oh, jeez. Well, realistically, what you can do is pop on that ExpressVPN, go see what's happening on the various Netflixes from around the world. Over 100 countries you can choose from, and Netflix libraries you can explore. Not just Netflix, of course. Whatever is happening specifically in different countries on Disney+, Hulu, BBC, iPlayer, all of them. You've got ExpressVPN ready and available to give you access to all the movies and shows that you otherwise would not be allowed to, simply because your feet are on the two wrong patches of dirt. So, fuck that noise. Get ExpressVPN. And yeah, you don't even have to be concerned about the buffering or any of those stream issues, because it works extremely fast. And yeah, I'm quite a fan of regularly just grabbing my phone, tapping the button, loading up the channel that I'm not allowed to watch, watching the content, enjoying it, and then tapping the button again. It's just that simple. Yeah, I've been using it more and more. In fact, there was a couple shows, like Comedy Central and HBO channels that were HBO content on YouTube that was like only available to me if I was using ExpressVPN. So, yeah, if you visit our link right now, expressvpn.com/superbeast, you can get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN for free. Support the show, watch what you want, get your holiday fix at expressvpn.com/superbeast. /superbeast. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Finally, the third thing you should be very concerned about is the feeling of cleanliness. Cleanliness is very important. And I don't know about you, but when you wait too long and things get dirty, they get kind of nasty, and then before you know it, you've got to throw out all that kitty litter and you make a big mess, and it's just the worst, and you don't even know what kind you don't even know what your cat likes, what's going on. It's terrible. Never mind all that awful experience. Kitty Poo Club has got you covered. Kitty Poo Club.
I legit love the name of this sponsor. It cracks me up every time.
It's great. If you got a cat and you love what's, you love everything.
You love
about
them, but not what comes out of their ass.
You don't love what comes out of the butt. So you take the unpleasant parts out of the mix, and you get back to more time with your big, dumb, furry friend. Basically, Kitty Poo Club is the all-in-one litter box solution that's convenient. Every month, they send you an affordable, high-quality, recyclable litter box pre-filled with the litter of your choice, leak-proof, eco-friendly boxes, fun design for every season. And when the month is up, you recycle the box, and Kitty Poo Club will deliver a new one to you. No changing the used litter, no more cleaning the box, none of that. Customize based on how many cats you have and what type of filter they prefer. And of course, there's a no-risk guarantee that allows you to easily customize or cancel it anytime. So, yeah, cleanliness is important. Right now, Kitty Poo Club is offering you 20% off your first order when you set up auto ship by going to 𝗕cie_𝘀𝘀.com and entering promo code SUPERBEAST. So just go to 𝗕cie_𝘀𝘀.com and enter promo code SUPERBEAST to get 20% off when you set up auto ship. That's 𝗕cie_𝘀𝘀.com, and don't forget to enter promo code SUPERBEAST at checkout. Thanks, Kitty Poo Club.
Thanks, Kitty Poo Club.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was pretty much the news. So,
I feel like I had one more piece of bad news, but
I feel like I had one too, but it wasn't.
I feel like it was like floating around in my head. Oh, right, pornography is over.
Oh, well, I mean, no. So part one of that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Like, part one of that was, I remember Reggie was telling me, he was like, yeah, dude, some crazy shit going down. Cause like there's a whole fucking awful user generated, part of uploading porn to Pornhub where they're getting in trouble. They're getting in trouble because their filters are not like fast enough and or smart enough to catch illegal shit. So
various kinds of very horrible nightmare illegal shit.
So then now they're like, well, if they don't have a better system in place, then they're getting in legal trouble with that. And that got into a story where they lost sponsors. And I want to say that within Quebec, one of our representatives, politicians, spoke out about like, that type of company not being welcome and but I think it sounded like it was really just they don't understand the nature of a like UGC based website where it's all about the filtration system. It's not that they themselves are breaking the law, it's that they don't have the right filters in place to catch shit.
Well,
so,
you can't, there's certain nightmare shit you can't really design a computer filter around, I don't think.
Well, you need one, you need auto recognition of things that have previously been deleted, and two, when you have too many things coming in that can't manually be checked, then you have to have like, for example, I believe like they had like license checking in place to verify like actors and things like that. But yeah. Anyway, the point is that it was such a mess that they were losing sponsors, and the whole thing was escalating in such a way that they were pretty much heading for possibly shutdown. So they just did the reasonable thing you do, and they said, all right, all UGC is now deleted, and cleared out about
Goodbye.
60% or 65% of their videos got wiped out, and that was the end of that. And as
So
a
that's
business,
not why pornography is dead.
Oh, okay. So what are you talking about then?
They did that, and then MasterCard and Visa pulled support anyway.
Right.
And then pulled support for all their partner networks, and are looking as to what other pornography things they will be pulling support for in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And people in the sex work industry are worried that they will then turn their attention to, say, OnlyFans or some such.
So is it branching off of that initial complaint?
Yeah.
So like
so here's the timeline was a New York Times article comes out, says you can find a lot of horrible criminal like CP and sexual assault videos on Pornhub right now like that. And everybody started to fucking freak out. I think one of the things was Facebook found 84 million instances of child pornography on it. So everybody's like, oh, shit.
Facebook?
Just kill it all. Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Everybody's like,
if there's an upload button, yeah.
So everybody's like, we gotta kill this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pornhub goes, okay, there's probably a lot of dirt on there. How many videos we got that could be dirt? And somebody said 4 million, and then somebody else said kill it. just delete it all.
Yep.
And that was Tuesday after
why fuck around?
MasterCard and Visa were like, we're thinking about cutting shit. And then on Thursday, MasterCard and Visa looked at what happened and went, no, we're going to cut shit anyway.
So then how does that extend off to sites that don't have an upload button?
Well, they went, well, everybody that is business related to this company also will get their shit. So Brazzers is dead, for example.
So yeah, there's a whole network that is owned by Brazzers. Funny enough, interestingly enough, some people who are locals might already be aware of this, but the QA industry and the porn industry are very close to each other in Montreal because there are major companies here like Brazzers and the parent QA company MindGeek, where essentially they hire lots of people that came straight from QA to do testing on porn sites. And it's a huge thing that has a massive studio here, specifically in Quebec. So, those I have a bunch of people.
They both get screwed at work.
I have a bunch of friends who
dab.
Some people some people move from game studio to game studio doing testing. But some people move out of games into testing in other businesses, and this one, and for porn in particular, with the giant setup they had, a lot of friends of mine left the QA studios I was at to go work there. So that's all connected.
So this might be a cascade effect because payment verification like MasterCard and Visa and banks are always trying to shut down porn for whatever, because I don't know.
Yeah, but I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if
I don't know.
Well, I mean, could be the puritanical side of things if you're going back a certain point
could be
in time.
The Americans up to their shit again.
The blood and guts has to cover the titty, you see.
It's true.
But make no mistake, the history of every medium, at the very least digital or format, I should say, was decided by who accepted the porn. HD DVD did not accept the porn.
Dead.
The beta did not accept the porn.
Ironically enough, but dead.
So, history is
Don't
littered
suck.
with the corpses of those who have went against the porn. Better believe, on God, that people will find a way, and they will fucking put their money elsewhere. They will do other things, you know. All right, PayPal it is, whatever, you know, Venmo, Cash App, fucking Ko-fi, you know.
Just direct interact me a pornography dollar, please.
0.001 BTC for a single porn.
I don't know how Bitcoins work. And I'm good with that. All right, we're moving on to emails, I guess.
Yeah, we are. I was gonna say first
we have at least one good email.
First, you get yourself a really good video card.
Okay, done.
Let's see. Here.
Step 3, profit. Is that how it works?
Step 2, install Dungeon Siege. JAV wins again. Does it?
No.
Does it?
No.
I don't know about that, bro.
It doesn't win for a bunch of reasons. One of which they don't care about a lot of this crap, and it's sad.
I don't know about that. How about one great email?
One great email would be great. That was an email sent into castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
All right. One great email coming up.
Hey, what are you eating? Hey.
Oh, boy.
What are you
It's
eating?
not string, is it?
No, it's cat hair.
Oh, that's fine.
Why string?
Yes. Ever since my friend or someone told me about a cat that she had that swallowed string and was and it started to go in the stomach, but then the part of the string was still outside the stomach, and you can't get that out because obviously you could fucking damage the insides of the cat if you were to just pull it. So be wary of like string. It's dangerous.
Yeah, we were told by our vet when we first got our baby. He's there like, make sure not to give him any ropes. Like you know, dogs chew on ropes and stuff like that. Because if the dog eats a tiny part of the rope, then the rope can get just jammed in there, and then you got to cut up with the dog and get the rope out.
You got to be really aware not to fucking give that shit to your pets that might swallow it. It's dangerous. Anyway.
Oh, he's disgusting. He eats cat hair.
All right.
It's fucking vile.
This one coming in from an anonymous source that works at GameStop.
Oh! I forgot about this! Fuck, I was supposed to talk about this. Thank goodness you brought it up.
So you caught some of this too.
I did.
So, GameStop employee here. We all know how bad it is with the California being in full lockdown. We shouldn't be open at all, but every police force in the state says it's not enforcing lockdown stuff, so we're screwed either way. Anyway, GameStop recently switched from UPS to FedEx, which already has a huge mess. Already was a huge mess. So, stolen from Reddit. FedEx is instructing everyone to hold all outgoing packages until further notice to quote-unquote lighten the load of outgoing deliveries. We all know these outgoing deliveries are going to be guests who ordered shit online to be delivered to their house. Even if they paid for expedited shipping, doesn't matter. So that means it's up to us, the employees, to deliver packages to the United States Postal Service. GameStop has cut hours like crazy and given us less coverage. How are we supposed to deliver packages and keep our store open? Oh,
Wait,
and
what?
GameStop employees are being asked to go and make deliveries of these games because of the FedEx pause on deliveries.
What the fuck?
You must have heard a different story.
Yeah, I heard a completely different GameStop story.
Okay. So,
all right.
This employee continues to go on. It's up to us, the employees, to deliver packages to the USPS. GameStop cut hours like crazy and gave us less coverage. How are we supposed to deliver a package and keep our stores open? We also have to prepare the packages as well, so hopefully no customers walk into the store while we're open. So now we're not only merchandising experts, sales experts, but also delivery drivers. And icing on the cake, we're supposed to have a surprise conference call with some more updates. Later on, so that the second part, the surprise conference call, was about having more PS5 and Xbox systems in stock.
This is what I was talking to somebody about.
Yeah, but only online. You have to go in store to order it. Rewind. They were getting more consoles in stock, but only online, and you have to be in store to order it.
That's right.
So we had literally 30 minutes to prepare and already had a line waiting outside during a pandemic. And we get an email saying how many systems we're allowed to sell per store, which means we have to be very careful to not oversell. Otherwise, we could get in trouble and have our store location excluded from future events and allocations. So what happens? Other stores, of course, don't follow this. I had 4 customers wait 4 hours to get a PS5, and they got nothing. This was after helping some people out getting a console, but after having to refresh the page online a bunch of times, the listing kept getting updated manually by corporate, so we kept seeing running out of the system, even when we'd put it in the cart. Sometimes we couldn't process it, and most of the time they could only sell a bundle because that was the only option available, meaning people just come back and return the items they don't want. One scumbag in particular bought 4 PS5s with bundles and came back to return all the extra stuff with them.
I spoke to somebody who contacted me about this. I found out at 3:30 that this was going to happen at 4 o'clock. Was not given any heads up to prepare anything safety-wise or given any extra hours to schedule more people. Literally nothing. They got 10 consoles between 4 SKUs, and because of the online shit, they were not even able to order all 10. So then they had to say, okay, everybody, get out.
But hey,
even though we technically still have more consoles, we can't do it, so you have to leave.
But hey, the company did decide to drop off some cases of Monster for each store. So instead of getting the extra hours needed and the extra staff available, they just made sure everybody was fueled up on energy drinks. So there you go.
Get out of there.
Anonymous employee goes on to say that I like working in the industry, even if it's just on the retail aspect of it. I like this job. I just can't let corporate scumbags get away with this shit any longer. So, yeah. Here's the story. Please bring it up. Yep. You know, here's the thing, man. They survived. Months ago, at the start of this bullshit in March, when we saw, like, the fucking Malabogia and his boardroom running the company from the safety of their own homes, basically putting their people on the front lines and saying, fuck you, don't you dare stop working.
It's pretty easy to be like, this company's scummy. That's a bad way to treat your employees. But now we're in the place it's like, wow, this company's scummy. This literally killed people 2 weeks from now.
They managed to survive. When I was like, well, we're watching them on the way out, and you know, I think I made the analogy to Reggie parachuting in to the burning plane, getting all the cash he can, and parachuting out before it goes down. But it didn't actually go down and explode, and Reggie has remained, I believe, completely radio silent on all things GameStop related after the initial announcement that he was going to
That's smart. That's
join
real smart.
the team. I believe Reggie continues to just be known as that ex-Nintendo guy, and that's all there is to it. Yeah.
This is the same company that says when the cops come to shut you down, you tell those cops that they don't know what they're talking about. Soon will come the employee memo. If the cop tries to shut you down, you shoot that cop. And you sell his corpse a video game. Used, mind you.
What do you think we meant by power to the players?
Oh my god.
All right.
That's the podcast. We're done now.
Could be.
The one good piece of news, like the whole podcast, was that Disco Elysium thing.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
exciting. Woo.
Okay, bye.